original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump is sending U.S. troops to Poland. CBS's Linda Kenyon reports.
In a post on social media, President Trump says he'll be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland, adding his decision is based on his relationship with Polish President Nawrocki. The president posted he was sending the troops due to the election of Nawrocki, but it is unclear if those troops are also meant for previously scheduled deployment that had been delayed as Trump has increasingly pressured Europe to fend for itself.
We're just getting this in that Kyle Busch, a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, has died after being hospitalized with what his family called a serious illness. Kyle Busch was 41. Gunmen have opened fire in two separate attacks on the Honduran coast, killing at least 16 people, including 6 police officers. The Justice Department's anti-weaponization fund is getting some pushback from Congress. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche met with Republican senators today, and CBS's Sarah Lynch says there are a lot of questions being asked.
We don't even know if there'll be people from inside the government, outside the government, or who is even eligible to serve on the commission itself.
A judge in Minnesota has handed down a 42-year prison sentence to the former leader of a nonprofit convicted in a massive fraud case. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Amy Bach claimed to have run a program providing millions of meals to needy children during the pandemic.
The fraud here in Minnesota is shocking.
The Justice Department calls it the single largest COVID-19 fraud scheme in the country, and others were charged today. Assistant Attorney General Colin McDonald.
We are announcing criminal charges against 15 defendants in Minnesota for fraud schemes that targeted over $90 million in taxpayer dollars.
He said we will claw back every dollar.
President Trump says the Supreme Court must not strike down his executive order denying birthright citizenship to anyone born in the United States.
If this is allowed to stand, it will be a disaster economically for our country, and you'll have 25% of the people coming into our country coming in through birthright citizenship, and we won't have any control.
Trump's executive order has been blocked by lower courts that found it likely unconstitutional. A Gallup poll finds young Americans are more pessimistic about what the job market will be like when they get out of college. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Young college grads, let's say 22 to 27-year-olds, they are experiencing a higher unemployment rate. Like right now, we have a 4.3% rate. And the young grads are in the fives.
Our copy editor is Kathleen Biggins. On the assignment desk is Gloria Chapa and Gautier Giacomoni. And our desk associate is Jasmine Gonzalez. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth.
Half a world away.
Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
Coming up, a school superintendent accused of a cover-up is now under arrest. But first, Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
KIRO Newsradio Traffic Alert.
And we've got a closure on eastbound 18 heading through Maple Valley right there at the 169 interchange. A collision blocking all eastbound lanes and the left westbound lane. Eastbound drivers are being detoured off the highway, then back on via the southeast 231st Street ramp. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton, Linwood to Seattle, a 35-minute drive, about a 10-minute delay. We're dealing with heavy volumes coming out of Northgate down to I-90. We cleared our earlier crash in the U-District. North 5, typical scattered backups in the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal. About a half hour to get through this. South 405 in Bellevue, pretty solid now from 520 all the way to the Renton Landing. We're pushing a half hour from Bellevue to Renton. North 405 is heavy through South Center through the Renton S-curves. Southbound I-5 through Tukwila slows at MLK Junior Way down to 516. And southbound 167 in the south end, bumper to bumper from State Route 18 into Sumner. Oh, yeah, we're at an hour 10 this afternoon between Tacoma and Olympia, primarily due to this 4 to 5 mile really thick backup through JBLM. Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. An investigation in Longview has now led to the arrest of the district's superintendents. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports.
This all stems from a rape investigation at Mark Morris High School that rocked the community this midwinter. Basketball players forcing younger teammates into a windowless locker room and assaulting them. Police say they heard about it on social media and then contacted the district, but Superintendent Karen Cloninger told them it had already been handled. Ultimately, a parent made a report. 2 teens were arrested and charged. Police say Cloninger not only knew about what happened, but told staff not to talk to police. She's accused of witness tampering, failure to report, and obstructing a law enforcement officer.
And police say at least one more school administrator is expected to be arrested. 2 law enforcement officers are now awaiting charges after being accused of having images of child sexual exploitation. A state corrections officer was caught in Mason County by an online task force, while an Arlington police officer was turned in by his girlfriend. Meantime, a 3rd officer in Auburn is also awaiting charges. He's accused of approaching someone he thought was a minor online. He's actually a detective. These cases are not related. A Republican state senator now urging Governor Bob Ferguson to temporarily suspend Washington's Climate Commitment Act as gas prices continue to rise due to the Iran war. Senator Chris Gildon estimates that suspending the carbon cap program could cut about 55 cents off every gallon of gas.
Experts down in Olympia tell me that could start having an impact on people's pockets within a matter of just a couple of weeks.
And supporters of the CCA, however, say it is essential to meeting the state's climate commitment goals. We have reached out to the governor's office for comments. Seattle City Council president is asking for something her predecessor calls unusual: 2 police officers stationed at every council meeting. The police department confirmed this request. Former council president Sarah Nelson tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red the chamber already has security on site.
They're supposed to deal with disturbances. Now, they don't have the right to lay hands on any protesters or anybody who's disrupting the meeting. And so there have been officers called in the past, but it's certainly not regular.
It is not clear why Council President Joy Hollingsworth has made this request. We have reached out to her office for more information. Your weather update now, looking at mostly sunny skies tonight and again for tomorrow. Highs in the mid-70s. Right now, 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome to the John Curley Show.
Is it, though?
It is. It is. It always is, even if John Curley is not here.
I got to keep. Thank you. I got to keep that in mind.
I always hesitate a little bit at the beginning when we fill in. This is Mike Lewis and Spike O'Neill here, because the theme song changes from time to time, and so I'm waiting for that cue where I can jump in. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it's just sort of the Muzak version of it.
Vibing, baby. We're vibing.
And
you know, you're rocking.
And
your
I was just
head.
sort of waiting along, and then I was before
bopping.
I drifted off into my own reverie. I realized, hey, I'm on air. So, all right,
Mike and Spike.
This is the first story we're talking about here is not really going to come as a massive, massive surprise. There's an extraordinary surge in luxury homes listed in Washington real estate market right now. Apparently, Seattleites, at least the wealthy ones, are moving to Nevada in droves. Realtors are charging. This is according to Fox News. Realtors are in other states are making social media pitches to attract Washington residents as clients. That's because, of course, they can sell their very expensive homes, maybe here in Seattle, and then move to a state with ostensibly, I guess, lower taxes, no threat of millionaire taxes, that sort of thing.
No capital gains, no millionaire's tax.
And so when this whole issue was brought up once before, our mayor here in Seattle, Katie Wilson, in a statement she now regrets, essentially said, "What would you say to the millionaires who are unhappy about the millionaire's tax?" She said, "Bye-bye." And she now says that was a dumb thing to say. And
in hindsight,
yeah. Well, you need sounding callous about any people in the group of people that you represent, and you're an elected official isn't terribly savvy. And she is a very, very new, 100% new politician. And so she learned a lesson on that one. Whether or not she feels that they should be taxed, she did need to be trite in the response. But the point is that this is an actual effect, according to this report, that some wealthy people are finding, like, you know what, I want to go somewhere where I can not have to pay as high taxes. I want to go somewhere where I feel like maybe, I don't know, I'm better valued. If you are a millionaire who is planning on moving out, text line is 188-973-5476 and let us know what state you're headed to and how you feel about this.
You know, I think this to me reeks of piling on. I think if you look at a demographic that has the ability to own a luxury level home and relocate, I think you're probably accomplishing it in the twilight of your life. Maybe you already were in a position where, look, it's retirement time. These people aren't selling their luxury homes and moving to Iowa or Connecticut or Virginia.
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably put Nevada right in that category. I mean, I'm not sure.
You don't think they're retirees? You think the numbers of people, the number of millionaire homes increasing on the Seattle marketplace is due in part to the excessive taxation of Washington, the new policies, the millionaires proposed millionaires tax, the capital gains tax. I think that has an element of why, but I also think a lot of these people are moving to Arizona, they're moving to Nevada, and these realtor in these other markets understand this is a target-rich environment for the high-end homeowner.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me that what's going on here is what people have suspected for a long time. If there is this idea that if you make a lot of money, if we cut taxes for people making a lot of money, they will in turn invest that money into maybe expanding their business, employing more people, doing whatever it takes. That money flows back into the economy and raises all boats.
Okay.
The studies have shown that that's not always true. In fact, in many cases, it is not true. What people tend to do is sock it away.
Is that the definition of trickle-down economics?
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's the definition
speaking
of how it sometimes doesn't work. And I'm not saying in every case, because there are cases where it absolutely does work. And in this particular case, this particular tax, it's not clear how it works, candidly, because we haven't had time to study it. In fact, there's a even chance that it's never even actually going to get. It's going to stand the test of time from a legal standpoint. But nonetheless, you've got this idea that these folks feel like, hey, I've been a net contributor to society. I should not be taxed additionally beyond what I'm already taxed at this point, certainly. And remember, much of what you're taxed is federal, not state. So, and especially in a state without an income tax, right?
And it falls to businesses disproportionately.
Yeah. So a bunch of potentially a bunch of people are going to move elsewhere. My guess is it's not because they're moving elsewhere to then take that extra money and invest in jobs
and hire
businesses.
People, start businesses.
They're interested in pocketing the money. Is their credit. It's their possession. They can pocket it all they want. But I wish we would just call it what it is. And what it is people looking to retain more of what they earned, legally earned, and they don't want to necessarily spend that on taxes. Fair enough. I mean, whether I agree with that, whether I agree with the way the tax structure is in Washington or not, I understand that, but I get a little bit weary of the conversation around it from a variety of sides.
So let me ask you this real quick before we move off of this topic. With the recent easing of the tax burden of the 1%ers in this country from a federal perspective, does that create a situation in state governments where you don't have the finances to run the programs that are necessary to maintain the well-being of your state from top to bottom in your state, not just the top earners? I mean, you're looking at a loss of federal revenue and thus a trickle-down loss of state revenue from a federal perspective. What's the state supposed to do? I know that taxing who's left is a circling the drain recipe for disaster. We've seen businesses flee left, right, and center. But what's the solution?
I don't know that I would do a whole lot more. Let's just say that I mean, it is factually true that you're right about the very, very top earners are paying percentage-wise less in taxes than bottom wage earners.
I hear that argument all the time that the owner of the company pays less than the employee in a percentage of their tax responsibility.
But what I would say is that the tinkering with individual taxes, I think, is not been effective over time. And I think that tinkering with corporate taxes, where frequently many corporations pay zero, I think that's where you have a bigger problem. And I think that if you had a situation where corporations made greater tax payments, you could probably do more as far as funding the states and funding the infrastructure and the things that we actually need to pay for. And you can also talk, I am not actually, I'm not a fan of Doge grade cuts to random cuts to government. I thought that was awful.
Chainsaw was a perfect metaphor.
But do I think that there should be? Yeah, I mean, I would I'd look straight at the Defense Department for one, and a couple of other places too. I understand what trying to be, what people are trying to do as far as making tax programs more egalitarian and more like broad-based and hit various people. The problem is that we have decided that once you earn a certain amount, you should be given more capacity to avoid paying additional taxes. I mean, for me, it's always been this weird thing, right? If you look at corporate structure in America and the benefits you get by being a C-suite person, a COO, a CFO, or you get by being the CEO or chairman of the board or anything along those lines, why is it you get more free stuff? Why is it at that level you get a car and you get office, you get stipend for wardrobe frequently, you get all kinds of extras when you're actually at this position in your life where you can afford all of that easily? It's odd. It's more sort of the act of getting something for free than I think it is a financial boon, but it really is an incentive. When somebody is making $400,000 a year coding for Google and they're enticed by having a good chef at Google, it's odd to me. It seems like, I don't know what it is about us, and I'm not suggesting I'm not influenced by similar things. I mean, how many times have you seen a 15% off coupon for something you didn't actually need and then went ahead and bought it because it's 15% off,
yeah,
right?
You're missing out. You bet.
This is the odd thing about it, and I don't understand why we feel this need to provide additional tax relief for people who are paying a relatively speaking low percentage. And remember, anytime you want to go back and say, yeah, their job's right, and I'm not arguing with this point, you look, everything out there that we buy, every single thing, milk to a new car, you know what? It costs the same for me as it does for someone who's a billionaire. But it's a much higher percentage of my earnings.
Right.
And sometimes
your grocery bill might be 30%
people forget,
of your
like,
income.
it's not an equivalency game. It isn't an equivalency game. And so making a tax structure that imagines it's an equivalency game is always been kind of silly. But nonetheless, so there's a surge in, and remember, a surge in homes being listed, which is where we started this whole discussion, does not mean a surge in homes being sold.
True. Right. You're talking about a business community that's hostile to business in Washington State. How are you going to get high end? I mean, are these high end homes? That's who's already coming to work here for the Googles and the Microsofts and the Amazons.
And one of the things we probably should consider is that maybe simply the act of owning a home in Seattle should be characterized as a luxury home. Right? I mean,
you're right.
It's so
the median's $1 million now.
It's so
right?
difficult in this town, and I'm still shocked to this day that I own a house in Seattle, and I managed to have just nothing, and I would repeat this, nothing I have ever done that's actually benefited me financially was well thought out. I've been lucky, big time lucky.
That's genuinely on. Look at you.
Oh no, there's no smarts behind this at all. I got very lucky in that I was looking for an apartment actually, and then happened upon a house right in the middle of the mortgage crisis when you could go in and offer well under what somebody wanted for a house, and they would snap it up because it was all where I ended up living. Every house I looked at was a short sale or a foreclosure.
Wow,
which is a stunner. Like, you think that's 12 years ago. It was a stunner market in this town that existed probably one time. Well, not two times in my lifetime, although I didn't live here then. It certainly existed during the Boeing layoffs because people were walking away from mortgages back then. But it was this moment in time where, and that's the weird thing about a recession, and I'm not advocating for a recession, but the weird thing about it is it is devastating economically to many people. But there is a group of people that finally the bottom rung of that ladder drops within reach because they're actually, weirdly enough, not destitute, and they can just climb into that level. And that's what happened for me. Like, there's months earlier, I would not have been able to afford a house. Months later, I would not have been able to afford a house. Wow, there was like the window went open and then it snapped shut behind me, at least in terms of my income level, which was, as a reporter, lousy. And I got there. And so I'm still shocked. I wake up every day shocked that I actually have a house in Seattle, and I can't imagine trying to do that now.
My oldest is recently married. They're in their mid to late 30s, the couple, and they think it's an impossible dream to own a home in Seattle. And as parents,
it is for many people, right?
As parents who hope to be grandparents, my wife and I watch our kids chase this dream and chase it further and further and further away from the metropolitan area of Seattle or even Bellevue. and further out of unattainable within traveling distance of us.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame, and it's a shame that and I've ranted about this before on air here at KIRO. It's a shame that we route so much of what our financial leverage is going to be as an adult into a home purchase, and we don't have some other vehicle for that.
Yeah.
That would actually make people not have to be so front-loaded on buying a house, and maybe there'd be something else that they could do that would have the same financial benefit, but nonetheless. So speaking of houses, let's jump into real quickly in the emergency ordinance to expand homeless shelters. This has been one of those things that Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has talked about quite a bit.
It's a pillar of the campaign.
And she is now actually enacting it. She is looking for she's expanding the size of the tiny homes lots, which I ride my bicycle past 2 of them in town almost every day.
Is it from like 100 to 150 capacity? Is that okay?
Yeah. And I think with an increase, hopefully an increase in services. She is also looking to expand the vehicle camping areas as well. I think both of those things personally, and I know that people have, feel free to text in if you've had different experience with this. I've had, in my time going past the tiny home villages in town, and I've probably been past 20 different ones, and probably 5 of them very, very consistently, like because I'm on my bicycle or on my motorcycle, but on my bicycle a tremendous amount. I find them to be, what I can tell, reasonably well run, clean, organized, services available. When I pass at night, I'm not always seeing, a police light going off somewhere. I mean, what's your experience?
I'm a big fan of the tiny village communities, but I think they cannot be expanded in the city without the required services you mentioned. The wraparound services are available to the residents. Oftentimes, I know we have Andrea Suarez of We Heart Seattle.
Right.
And there are often cases where these tiny villages they have a dedicated tiny house for drug use within the community. They're magnets for drug dealers,
right,
that are peripherally impacting the communities around these tiny home villages. So if you're going to expand these with regard to whether it be RV or car camping areas or expansion of the residents that can be within these, you have to, as a city, also account for the impact of those communities. They've also recently changed the ordinance that these communities can be anywhere, and they don't have to be designated to commercial areas, commercial zones like you often see up and down along Aurora. They can now be in any neighborhood. If you're going to do that to a community, you have to guarantee that community that the drug dealers are going to be attracted. Because once a month, people who live in tiny villages live on state checks.
Right.
The drug dealers know when checks come, and there's drugs all over the place in the periphery of these areas.
They are very, very on schedule for that.
Yeah, you can't expand without the additional security and services, the community that house these. I'm all for them, run properly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think that is what is going to, when the first few get expanded or when they get moved away from commercial property into other sorts of into residential areas.
Yeah,
that's when the proof is going to
when the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, it's going to be displayed.
When the needle meets the road.
Whether or not the city actually comes in with that sort of level of attention
and commitment
to detail
to the residents.
And commitment to the residents, and find out how much people buy into this sort of program.
Yep.
All right. Well, we are at our very, very first traffic report
ever
for Thursday, Nate.
Yes, we are.
For this Thursday. So I'm wondering, I'm curious, are we going to get some good news? Or are we going to get... Oh.
No. We're already starting off bad.
I was just trying to think positive thoughts.
I know. I appreciate that. Sorry, Mike. It's already starting off bad. This report brought to us by Seattle Sports. As we mentioned last break, we've got a full closure on eastbound 18 at the 169 interchange there in Maple Valley. It's blocking all the eastbound lanes and two left westbound 18 lanes. So westbound drivers, you're actually being directed onto the very on ramp to get around this, and eastbound drivers are being detoured off and then back on at South Southeast 231st Street. Now, if you haven't passed it yet, you'll want to take 516 east to 169 and get onto eastbound 18 from that route. Tacoma to Olympia is struggling at an hour and 10 minutes this afternoon. You've got a 5-mile, really thick backup through JBLM that starts near Gravely Lake Drive. The Thorn Lane on-ramp, your left lane is blocked from a collision. Then we've got more slowing between Lacey and Olympia. Seattle to Federal Way, plan on 40 minutes. South Center to Bellevue is at 35. We're stop and go from I-5 in South Center up to the VMAC. South 5 in Seattle, we're heavy from Northgate to I-90. Linwood to Seattle's at a half hour. And 35 minutes to get through downtown Seattle on North 5. Your backups start near the West Seattle Bridge. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hargan.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
It has been a Northwest staple since 1977, a landmark when giving directions.
We chat with the Director of Sales and Marketing as Wild Waves prepares for its final season.
Mariners head for Kansas City. Join us for the Rick Riz Show.
And are you looking for something to do this holiday weekend?
KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden has your weekend planner.
That's tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just help make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check from Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires, including all-terrain, highway, all-season, and all-weather. So go ahead. Explore with confidence. Les Schwab Tires. We're here to help you take the long way. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
The action is fierce, the energy is over the top, and it's a night you don't want to miss. It's Excite Fight Live MMA at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. See a full night of incredible combat when MMA fighters face off in the cage and turn the excitement all the way up. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster at a higher price and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwes.com, sellwithwes.com. A better way to sell your home.
Nick, you know what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see. They know. They hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on brakes?
We mark Duralast brake pads down to free.
Free Duralast brake pads?
When you buy 2 rotors.
Can I get Duralast Gold pads for free?
With 2 Duralast Gold rotors, and there's a lifetime warranty on brake pads.
That's a huge markdown for so many miles.
Save on brakes and more during Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Senate Republicans are now backing off a major immigration funding bill tied to President Trump. At the center of all this is a controversial Justice Department fund. The $1.8 billion fund would compensate those who the president says have been unfairly targeted. CBS's Jake Rosen reports the acting attorney general did not rule out paying January 6th rioters.
Neither Blanche nor the White House have said outright that they would oppose payouts from the fund to those convicted and since pardoned of assaulting law enforcement officers. The DOJ has not disclosed any criteria regarding who would be eligible for a settlement or whether there would be a cap on the amount of money that they could receive.
Law enforcement officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th are now challenging that program in court. Pierce County man now faces a murder charge in the death of his girlfriend, though her body has not yet been found. We get more from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
30-year-old Kendrick Deshaun Bruce pleaded not guilty to a murder charge, and bail was set at $2 million. The victim went missing April 1st. Detectives initially arrested Bruce for identity theft and felony harassment. He was released, but after further investigation, Bruce was rearrested Wednesday for first-degree murder. Tacoma police officer Shelby Boyd explains a murder charge with no body.
As long as you meet your elements of your crime, that's what they needed. And so they were able to obtain that, and prosecutor's office was on board.
The search for the victim is ongoing. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Elon Musk's SpaceX is going public. The company filed for an IPO yesterday. Puget Sound Business Journal reporting the company could raise $80 billion or more. Now, SpaceX does build its Starlink satellites in Redmond, cranking out about 70 a week. Former Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell has gone from lawyer to politician and now to CEO. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports.
It's a new chapter for former Mayor Bruce Harrell as he's accepted the CEO role with Seattle-based Philium, which produces sustainable textiles for brands like North Face and Cabela's. When he conceded the race to Mayor Katie Wilson last fall, he promised he'd stick around.
We will still be here serving you because you mean that much to us, and we love all of you that have taken this journey with us.
Harrell started his career as a lawyer in telecom and was first elected to the city council in 2008. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
And now to the real-time traffic desk at 3:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, this one brought to you by the Harnish Auto family. We've got delay that trip on State Route 18 this afternoon if you can. We have an ongoing traffic alert in Maple Valley, eastbound 18 at the 169 interchange. All eastbound lanes are blocked. Now it looks like drivers are no longer able to squeeze by on that right shoulder. You're stuck right there until we can open up a lane. Prior to this closure, you'll want to take the eastbound 516 over to northbound 169. 69 route, and you can get onto 18 from there. So westbound 18, both of your general purpose lanes are blocked at the scene as well, but you are being directed to the Petrovisky on-ramp. You're sharing the on-ramp to get around this. It's just a mess up there. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour and 10 minutes this afternoon with a 5-mile thick backup through JBLM. Renton to Puyallup on 167s at 45 minutes. Really heavy from State Route 18 into Puyallup. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. You're going to slow at Northeast 60th in Kirkland, and that doesn't let up till you're down to the Renton Landing, and it is really tough through Bellevue and Factoria. South 5 in Seattle, heavy from Northgate to I-90, and North 5 scattered backups in the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge, about 35 minutes to get through all this. The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale through May 31st. Exclusive deals, 0 down, and no payments all summer on approval of credit. In Puyallup and Everett, Harnish Auto Family, people matter. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now looking pretty good ahead of the holiday weekend. Sunny skies right now, more sunshine tomorrow, and highs staying in the mid-70s. Right now, 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Mike Lewis, Spike O'Neill here. The World Cup, as you've probably heard, is coming to Seattle very, very soon. And what started off as what was going to be the most expensive World Cup in history has continued to actually still be that, but it's a less expensive, most expensive World Cup in history. Tickets are not selling. No surprise here, given, some games averaging $2,000 a ticket. It is. They are not selling as well as FIFA, the body that controls the World Cup, organized body that controls the World Cup, would like. And it looks like a lot of hotel rooms that were booked well in advance are now hitting that point where you can cancel your room without penalty, and thousands upon thousands of rooms are getting canceled, and it looks like a variety of things are contributing to the World Cup in the United States, with some exceptions. There are some games that are going to be, phenomenally well attended, but maybe not as popular as everyone had hoped. Spike, are you in any way engaged in what's happening with the World Cup?
Only in so much that I'm not going to be anywhere near downtown Seattle for about 6 straight weeks.
Yeah.
And I think that's based in my perception. The promise of what Seattle would how they would benefit locally, economically from World Cup, I think is
right.
As the main crux of the place we find ourselves today, the issues we find ourselves in today. They anticipated 750,000 visitors for World Cup play in the 6 matches scheduled for Seattle, with revenue projected to close in on $1 billion, $900 million worth of revenue for the city of Seattle. The problem is, if you do the math, the stadium holds almost 70, and there's 6 games. That's about 420. Where do you find 750 worth of? Is this the periphery of people who are going to come to town? I think that number scared away a lot of people from potentially coming to the game. Couple that with World Cups, the FIFA's control over what ticket prices would be, the surge pricing that FIFA instituted to get to these ticket prices also scared people away. You mentioned the hotel bookings. There were like multiple night requirements for a lot of folks to come to town, and for fear of missing out, you book early.
Right.
I think all those things were optimistic, if not misleading, projections on potential crowds, and I think they've had a negative effect.
I think all of that is true. I think that it's a shame because, it's hard to find sort of an international, sporting body. The International Olympic Committee would be sort of second to FIFA. FIFA's massive, and it's so profoundly corrupt that I don't know that it's possible to remove the corruption and have any structure left. I mean, and I'm not trying to be facetious here. It really is an appalling organization on the way it forces, relatively, the funny thing is, like, these countries did some of this to themselves. It forces relatively low-income countries to build new soccer stadiums that they want to host a World Cup. I mean, essentially, it is a protection plan, a shakedown plan for anyone who wants to be able to host this thing.
Because they've got the biggest event in the world,
which is the biggest event and the biggest sporting event in the world. It's not even anything even close,
right?
And it is, and it's also the most played game in the world. Like, there is nothing that compares to soccer, nothing. And I mean, take away the United States, which has actually become quite an intense soccer country, it's unparalleled everywhere else on the planet.
It is, but that being said, have we overestimated the world's games draw here on this continent? I mean, we're in what, 8, 9, 10 cities in America. We're in Mexico and Canada as well, right? Did they overestimate the American interest in the games? As you said, there are some matches that good luck getting a ticket to when the world's premier teams and the world's premier players, or even the USA teams, are playing a game in those host cities. Those tickets are going to be no problem selling out. But nobody wants to come see, who knows, Iran and Egypt here in Seattle.
I think a couple of things happened, and I think that there's going to be, sorry in advance, folks who are not going to want to hear this, but I think that the two primary problems are impression of the expense of coming here and going to a game, and the second is the vision of the United States on a world scale right now. I think that there are a bunch of people who are foreign nationals who are, whatever they have been reading, correct or incorrect, are feeling a lot less inclined to travel to the United States. It has rerouted a whole bunch of people to Canadian games, which there aren't as many of, and Mexico games, which there aren't as many of. Those are selling phenomenally well.
FIFA had to come out and ask the Trump administration to not deploy ICE teams around World Cup games in America.
Right. I mean, just from a scare tactic standpoint. And so this is what is happening right now. I think that we are hitting a point of low popularity, and maybe that is by design.
As a host nation.
That's not as they say, that's not a bug, it's a feature. And
yes.
And it is, I think, costing those people who can afford it and would like to go. They're like, maybe I'll just go somewhere else, or what I'll do, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I mean, I'll be lucky if I go to one game, and I'm a big World Cup at its best is the best form of nationalism you're going to find. Nationalism frequently isn't a great thing, but in some cases, from a sporting standpoint, Olympics, well, it can be wonderful,
unifying.
And I like this international competition. I especially like something where our success is not predetermined. We are an also-ran when it comes to that. And I'd love to see us do well because I'm a big fan of the U.S. men's national team, big fan of the U.S. women's national team, which is actually an overdog, not an underdog. But now other countries have caught up, and we're trying to get the men's team to catch up on the same side. I am predisposed to want to go, and I was excited to be living in a town where it's actually happening. I was living in the Bay Area in '94. And I didn't get a chance to. I couldn't afford a game then. But although the capacity to afford a game was much, much easier then, I was just much broker at that particular juncture. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to show up are going to fly into town. They're going to show up at the giant fan zones. Yeah. I think that those extra numbers you're talking about earlier are going to be people who just want to be around it. I have several friends who have flown to World Cup hosting cities, say it's in Germany or say it's somewhere else where they wanted to go anyway. And Seattle's a destination city regardless of whether it's hosting a World Cup. And so why not show up, hang on a fan zone? Maybe you do get lucky and can scalp a ticket, for a reasonable price, especially if you wait until after kickoff, which is one of the things I'm going to be paying attention to, and seeing if you get it. But if not, the fan zones in some cities historically have been loads of fun. Giant screens, big beer gardens, a great place to hang out with thousands of other people, potentially or hundreds from your country, rooting for whatever team it is that you're watching for.
I've heard reports from cities like San Francisco who know that the price of getting into the stadium is prohibitive. So they're setting up these community parties, these big watch parties.
Seattle is as well. They're going to be at Seattle Center and other places like that and down in Renton. I mean, it is going to be, I think, if it is a more modest event than we anticipated, I think that's an upside. And if we
and still a good investment for the city.
Exactly. And still loads of fun for people. Great. That's great. I am still looking forward to the World Cup, and I'm looking forward to the teams that I am rooting for, but
Are you glad to build the extra best guest room in your house for VRBO?
Or those people who actually moved out of their house and listed
their
it.
Place?
I hope they got those things listed, and I hope they didn't have an easy cancellation policy. They can make a little bit of money. All right. Nate, we're again. I already sort of spilled the beans that it's not maybe such a easy commute tonight, is it? And I assume in the last, what has it been? 20 minutes. It's not gotten any better now.
You know, Mike, aside from our ongoing traffic alert there on 18 in Maple Valley, the rest of the commute isn't too surprising, isn't terrible.
Nice.
But we do have a closure, eastbound 18, full closure now, and right at this 169 interchange. And then westbound 18 at the scene, your two general purpose lanes are blocked, but they're directing you onto the on-ramp from Petrovisky, so you're joining that on-ramp traffic as well. So it's a mess either way you look at it. If you haven't already passed it heading eastbound 18, you should probably hop onto eastbound 516, northbound 169, and that'll get you onto 18. No estimated time for this to reopen, so delay that 18 trip if you can. Seattle to Federal Way, 40 minutes. You're heavy from MLK Junior Way to 516. Here in Seattle, North 5, it is tough from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge. About 35 minutes to get through this. Seattle to Everett, we're at 45 minutes. Once you get over the Ship Canal Bridge, it clears out until you hit 145th, and then from there, you're slow up to 164th in Mill Creek. Bellevue to Everett, you just tipped the 1 hour mark. It's slow from almost I-90 in Bellevue into Canyon Park. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. The first show is May 29th. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explain this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack and a $6 Biggie bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie bundle. The grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KIRO Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know SunBucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
So, I don't know. Have you ever held a job for 22 years, a single job?
Yes.
What was that?
I did the Bob Rivers Show, 25 years.
You did 25 years?
25 years in that chair with Bob.
And at any point, do you feel in those years that you're like, this is enough, I need to step away, or did you always want a bit more time? I mean, that was a pretty unusually good gig.
It was a great gig, and the gig evolved.
Right.
I wasn't doing the same job year after year after year after year. I didn't stay too long at the fair.
Right.
You know, and it's funny, when a lot of folks have success in their careers, they don't know when it's time to walk away.
Right.
Everything from, we're looking today at the headlines that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, has released their autopsy as to what went wrong in the 2024 election. At none of this, at no point, did they mention that President Biden had sunset while in office, and that his age was a factor, that his timing on leaving the campaign may have led Americans to feel like they didn't get a shot at to pick who would be the Democratic nominee. None of that is mentioned. That's that's denialism. And we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers announcing that after 22 years in the league, is that what it is, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be his final campaign.
Yeah.
For the Pittsburgh, and I'm heartbroken by this.
Really?
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
So you want him to
almost as much as I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'd love him. I'd love to be the walker, to be the official mascot of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. I've never been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback.
Right.
Sometimes the circus outweighs the performance on the field with this guy. He's got a lot of weird points of view.
Right.
And a lot of idiosyncrasies that I just think are okay. You're not bigger than the game.
Right.
You're one of 32 starting quarterbacks. You're one of a cavalcade of greats. He's a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. That should be enough. It's not for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he is to sort of complete the thread. He is said he is playing his because I think to some degree the coach Mike McCarthy, who he won a Super Bowl with when they were both at Green Bay, is been named the head coach, the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so Rogers decided, all right, let's see if we can rekindle our high school romance. 40 years down the road.
Round of magic.
And see if this actually works.
Yeah, that's like Uncle Rico pulling up in a car, though, to take your daughter to prom. It's a little much.
Yeah, and we'll see if that actually ends up. I mean, I'm not in the business of. I try to keep my sports I try not to categorize my sports in who I'm rooting against.
Okay,
and who I'm rooting for.
Healthy.
I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I wasn't. Yeah. I haven't been for a long time. Even though at times in interviews he can be an unusually bright guy and a perceptive guy.
Oh yeah, clearly.
But this one, I don't know. I think he'll be lucky at his age to finish out the season.
I think he'll be lucky to finish out camp.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that.
Good for him for being optimistic to think that he's got one more year in him.
Yeah. I mean, but then it also tells you maybe the state of quarterbacking in the NFL that this guy is actually a better bet than anybody else they have on that squad at this particular juncture.
If that's their best option as a Steeler hater, yeehaw.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Nate. We need to know.
Yes, sir.
We need to know. What is going on with traffic right now?
Well, let's start with our full closure now on State Route 18, right at Maple Valley. State Route 18 and 169 at that interchange. Both directions of 18 are fully closed. Westbound 18, they are sneaking you around on the far right shoulder right now, but you'll want to avoid State Route 18 right now if you can. It all means there is no estimated time to reopen. The crash is actually in the eastbound lanes, but they're shutting down the whole freeway to tend to this. Tacoma to Olympia is going to take an hour 15. It's slow through South Tacoma. We've got a hefty 5-mile backup through JBLM, another backup between Lacey and Olympia. Here in Seattle, North 5, we've got that expected really thick backup from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal. Plan on 35 minutes to get through this. Out of Monroe, eastbound 2, we're seeing scattered backups east of Monroe, and that continues all the way through Sultan and up in Everett to Marysville, just under a 20-minute commute this afternoon, and it's slow basically from the Boeing Freeway all the way up to 529. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
You know how some parts of the house don't work? Let me explain. There's that closet that you've got that when you open it up, everything falls out. Or you try to find something, you can't because it's not working. There's too much stuff in there. And how about the garage? I know some people that can't park their car in the garage because there's everything else parked in the garage. You see what I'm saying? There might be some other parts of the house where it's just packed and there's no place to store anything. So maybe you've even gone to renting one of those storage units. Well, that adds up every single month. You can't even remember what's in there. So a better investment to get parts of those house working would be Closets by Design. The consultant comes to your house. They look at the problem. They know that each one of these problems that need to be solved have to be customized. But you don't get a big customized price. You're going to get 40% off plus an additional 15% off in 18 months, 0% financing on approved credit when paid in full. I really became a believer in Closets by Design when they came out to the barn in Cle Elum. You should see the work that they did. My goodness. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's closetsbydesign.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale is happening right now. The cost of living has gone up, but when buying a car, it doesn't have to feel like it. Zero Down delivers no payments all summer and exclusive 10-day deals in partnership with Tapco Credit Union. With a wide selection of new vehicles and over 400 used vehicles across 5 dealerships, you'll find just what you're looking for. Visit Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup or Kia and Chevy of Everett. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Offers available OAC on select models. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
It's Staples' 40th anniversary, and they've got deals worth celebrating. Now through May 23rd, enjoy up to 50% off. Save on paper, chairs, custom print, balloons, and more. Staples, that was easy.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A loss for NASCAR drivers, fans, and those who knew Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch is going to win his second Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series championship.
Kyle Busch has died at age 41 after being hospitalized with a severe illness. This comes just 3 days before he was to compete at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Busch is survived by his wife Samantha and 2 children. Memorial Day weekend is hitting travelers with sticker shock, and many are trying other ways to get where they're going. CBS's Allison Keyes.
People are packed in at Union Station in Washington, D.C., and this traveler headed to New York City says he is not driving.
I take train primarily. It's a way to get around Manhattan, but even down here, I try to take the metro.
This woman says,
cars out unless we absolutely need.
That's because
we just filled up the tank and it was over $70.
It used to cost around $50. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
As an Ebola outbreak spreads in the Democratic Republic of Congo, an angry mob torched a treatment center in that country, fearing the disease. CBS News medical correspondent Dr. Celine Gounder on challenges in containing Ebola in Africa.
On top of that, you have Rwandan-backed militia groups, M23, which have been trying to essentially control the minerals, the mining. And the combination of the presence of that armed militia on top of USAID, so Americans having pulled out from the region, has led to the collapse of health systems.
Nearly 140 deaths have been reported, and there are more than 600 suspected cases. Tonight is Stephen Colbert's final Late Show on CBS.
Jared Moats flew in from Texas.
He's a great comedian, and we will miss him dearly.
New Yorker Sherry Turner was also in the audience for Colbert's first show on CBS. What are you going to miss about Stephen Colbert?
His voice, his honesty, his logic.
An end for The Late Show and a major change for television. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Less than a month away, the World Cup tournament in the U.S. will be a major security operation carried out by the federal and local governments. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
As we prepare for the World Cup and Sail 250, New York City will be at the center of one of the largest global sporting events and national celebrations in history, with enormous crowds, high-profile venues, international attention, and a security environment that requires preparation for every credible threat.
Tisch says one of her top concerns is the ability to intercept drones. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Coming up, a local school superintendent is arrested. We'll tell you why after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
And this one's brought to you by Seattle Sports. We have an ongoing traffic alert this afternoon. Both directions of State Route 18 and Maple Valley, right at the State Route 169 interchange, are shut down again. That's both directions of 18 shut down by this collision in the eastbound lanes. Westbound 18, they're letting traffic get by on the very far right shoulder. As you can imagine, though, we've got big backups. So westbound 18, even though you can squeeze by, you want to avoid this trip if you can. There is no estimated time when we're going to reopen this for you. Tacoma to Olympia is struggling at an hour 15. We're slow through South Tacoma. 5 mile thick backup through JBLM. More slowing between Lacey and Olympia. Here in Seattle, no surprises. Northbound with scattered backups in the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal. About 35 minutes to get through downtown. South 5 slows coming out of Northgate to I-90. It's about a half hour from Linwood to Seattle. We're seeing heavy volumes out of Monroe, eastbound 2 especially. Scattered backups starting east of Monroe, and they continue all the way through Sultan. Seattle to Everett and close to about 50 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 1 hour. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. A school superintendent is accused of covering up student sexual assaults. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has more.
Police in Longview say Superintendent Karen Cloninger knew about a series of sexual assaults involving basketball players as early as January, but didn't report them to law enforcement. Investigators contacted her in February when they heard rumors on social media. Even then, they say Cloninger claimed the school had investigated and it was handled internally. Police say multiple staff members expressed concerns and were told not to talk about the assaults. Detectives ultimately arrested 2 students. They say at least one more administrator is complicit in the cover-up. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
3 law enforcement officers are now being investigated for sex crimes. These are all unrelated cases. In one case, a woman turned in her boyfriend this week after she's found hard drives containing child porn. Arlington Police Chief Jonathan Venura.
If the allegations are sustained, we're glad that somebody did the right thing.
A corrections officer in Mason County was also arrested, accused of having illegal images on his phone. And last week, an Auburn police officer was arrested after police say he contacted an undercover detective posing as a minor. A state senator is calling on Governor Ferguson to temporarily suspend the state's Climate Commitment Act, saying it is driving up already high gas prices tied to the Iran war. Republican Chris Gildon says Washington drivers are paying about $1.20 more per gallon than the national average.
Everything in Washington state is uniquely expensive, whether it's housing or childcare, but especially gas.
Gildon estimates pausing the program could save drivers more than 50 cents a gallon. We have reached out to the governor's office for comments. Seattle City Council president is asking for 2 Seattle police officers to be present at every council meeting. SPD confirmed that request as the department is already hundreds of officers short. Former council president Sarah Nelson tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red.
When I count up the hours of council meetings in a week, that's a lot of hours that those scarce officers will be not doing something else.
SPD says it will try to first fill those positions with volunteer officers on overtime. We have reached out to the current council president, Joy Hollingsworth, for comments. Your weather update now. For the next few days, going to see sunny skies and highs in the mid-70s. Come Saturday, some increase in clouds. And then Sunday, mid-60s. Right now, 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Spike O'Neill here, Mike Lewis, that is me here as well. As we like to say, it takes 2 of us to replace one John Curley.
Like we could.
The Washington State Patrol is stepping up enforcement on, you guessed it, carpool lanes. In particular, they are very interested in paying attention to what you folks are doing out on SR 520, one of the two bridges crossing Lake Washington. There is a problem with folks violating the 3+. This is a 3+ carpool lane as opposed to a 2+ carpool lane, and it looks like violations have been exceeding what they would like to see. And so what you do is break the rules, and then what they do is respond.
It's write the tickets.
Tickets, and thus they are going to be writing them. According to Steve Peer, who oversees communications for the SR 520 bridge for WashDOT. When we opened it up, we were noticing a good percentage of people were coming up from the freeway on the HOV +3 lane with 1 or 2 people in them. He says that the state began looking at this and saying, all right, we are going to maybe take a closer look at this thing and keep it fair. I've been kind of lucky in that I ride a motorcycle, and so you can use those lanes all the time. In fact, and sometimes I'm so habituated when I'm in a car and if I'm by myself to not using them, I'll be in my motorcycle in the regular lane. Like, what am I doing here? I get access. I can get past the velvet rope into the HOV lane. I should be there now, and then I make my move. But it is like, I understand the temptation to cheat on this one, especially if that lane is moving 25 miles an hour faster.
Yeah, and 520 is usually where you see those examples. That's the one that just locks up.
So here's the funny thing, because I think Seattle folks, generally speaking, and sorry if I'm going to make a broad generalization here. It's only because I'm making a broad generalization here. It is in California, when it's particularly in the Bay Area. I can't speak so much to LA, but my understanding is it worked there as well. There were places in Oakland, for example. If you were commuting from Oakland into San Francisco, there were corners in town where you could stop and pick up somebody who wanted to catch a ride into San Francisco. I mean, literally, and this was a very casual sort of arrangement. There's all kinds of like unspoken rules. You didn't know the person. You'd pull up, someone would get in the car, and just so both of you could take advantage of the HOV lane getting on the Bay Bridge from Oakland to San Francisco.
They wanted a cheap ride in the city.
You don't talk.
That's
you
right.
like a brief acknowledgement. You do not touch the radio. You do not do anything other than provide like warm flesh that will get you through the clothed flesh, one would hope. Although they're desperate enough in traffic that I'm not sure that was always a requirement to get you across the bridge. And then there was a predetermined place where you would pull over, dump them out of the car, and move along, and like never having known this person as anything more than someone working on a crossword, right? But that involves you actually being willing to be in a small personal space with someone you don't know, which I've found Seattleites are really reticent about. And this is a weird town in that regard. And so what you don't see here is those weird little sort of impromptu hacks for carpool lanes. Yeah. You see those in many places in Europe. You see it in a lot of places in the United States, particularly people who are driving long distances. I have never seen one in Seattle near the entrances to, and correct me if I'm wrong, and again, folks, text me, 188-973-5476. The text line, I am curious if anyone here has seen anything like this, because I have not, and it's kind of funny in Seattle. But then again, if you know Seattle well, or the Pacific Northwest well, maybe not so surprising.
Well, we got the Northwest freeze, the Seattle freeze, the Northwest freeze. That's real. That's why it's never going to happen here. I had always thought it was an urban legend that folks would wait by the Golden Gate.
Oh no!
To jump in a car and cross in the HOV.
The bigger commute, candidly, in the Bay Area is not the Golden Gate. It's the Bay Bridge.
I'm sorry, the Bay Bridge.
Yeah,
the
the Golden Gate is a commute. Mainly, it's wealthy people in Marin County just looking to get away from San Francisco, and wash off, and then plan their next entry into the city. For the Bay Bridge, though, that is bringing people not just from Oakland, but the entire East Bay, and then the Central Valley beyond the East Bay. And that is the major arterial leading into San Francisco from the east.
Well, I think this story speaks to the larger issue in my mind of this. If there are so few people using the high occupancy HOV lanes, then the incentive the HOV lanes, the incentive is to keep cars off the road, to have people carpool and commute.
Mm-hmm.
If there are so few doing that, people are desperate to use those lanes. They'll pick up a total stranger rather than talk to a coworker who might live in the area and do some pre-planning to actually carpool and take a car off the road.
But here's the thing, right? If you are picking up a rando, you're leaving on your own schedule. You're out the car. You know that all you have to do is pull over.
There's upside.
You don't have
upside.
to deal with, one, a conversation.
Another upside.
Two, you don't have to deal with they're running late or getting angry because, gosh, you've driven into the city 10 times and they've yet to drive in once or offer you any money for gas. This is a much cleaner array. It's like just, it is. I'm not going to make any social comparisons on what this is like, but essentially it is you are getting a very short encounter with someone where there's no liability and both people benefit.
And you always have the last minute option just to drive right by.
And you can always just drive right by if you get the traffic report from somebody like Nate, who is well informed. Then you can actually decide, you know what, I don't need that random person in the car today because traffic is not so bad. I think it's pretty funny. I did it once just to try it on the getting in the car thing. Worked great.
Well, I think HOV lanes and the toll lanes in our state, and there's talk now about expanding the raising the capacity, raising the cap on what toll lanes can charge. It's a total separation of the swells against the serfs. It's people who can afford to skip traffic. I mean, it should.
Well, but so to your point, the larger point being, of course, we're doing that with airports as well. We're with Clear, with other way, with TSA.
Buying your way past what the masses have to do, right? I don't want to wait around with them. So is the goal
in their 1990s cars?
Right. The goal is to ease congestion, right? That's why you have these lanes, but it's not to reduce emissions for cars. If that were the case, they'd all be 2-seaters. Or three, or they'd all be 3-seaters.
Well, I mean, ostensibly it can reduce. I'm assuming that they have math. I don't know how accurate the math is, but there is math on if you can reduce from, say, 75% single occupancy vehicles to 65%. That's a considerable number fewer cars, and probably I would guess a lot less emissions. So my guess is it actually. It
does give that benefit?
It does give some level of benefit. I don't know. I mean, I think the math on the proponent side is probably pretty optimistic. On the detractor side, probably pessimistic.
Okay.
But it's probably somewhere in the middle. It probably does help to some degree. I don't know exactly how you measure it, but I do know that raising the fees, if you don't provide one, especially if it kind of depends on if there is any fee relief for folks who are of lower income.
There's talk of that. There's talk about
of finding some way to do that, because it is, as they say, and I'm sure you've heard this term before, but it becomes sort of a regressive tax in that it affects a much higher percentage of a low income person's income. No, just the way sales taxes do, than a standard sort of adjusted tax.
And the earlier point too, the folks who really don't need the break, they're the only ones that can get it and use these excessively priced lanes. If they raise these fees, I think there's a section down toward the Renton area. They're talking about uniformity of these higher fee zones, these toll rate zones.
Right.
So it could take there'd be 3 different sections of $15 per to get from the east side down to south of the city to 405 I-5 to that juncture down there. You can spend $45 each way, skipping the congestion of traffic.
So I've got an idea, and we'll see if the Washington State Transportation Commission is listening to me right now. They don't have a history of listening to me, but I'm going to propose this.
Serve them well.
I am not a fan of making it more expensive when during, say, commutes. That's when usually the tolls get more expensive.
Sure.
When there are more cars on the road. That's not what I want. What I want is a toll that actually has on a sign a predicted time for you to get from Seattle to Bellevue. And when that time is low, I'll pay more. If I know I can get there in 10 minutes as opposed to 40 minutes, I'll pay that $15 premium, like bang, like that, because I hate idling in line, hate it. And I would much rather pay a higher toll for faster, essentially better service than I had pay a higher toll just because everybody wants to be in there at the same time. What I'm looking for is a toll that actually guarantees, and maybe that has a sliding scale, and based on my ability to get there on time, that's what the toll charges. That's what I would, because I would like, in most cases, what you're paying, if you're paying for faster internet service, if you're paying for, you're paying for something to happen more quickly.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily paying for it here, except to the extent that being in a HOV lane ostensibly is quicker than a regular traffic lane. I don't know. Charge me more for letting me get there faster. I'll take that.
Sully tells us all the time, the goal is to maintain 45 miles per hour in that lane.
Right.
When it gets so congested that you can't do that, they raise the rate to keep those cars out of it and keep that 45 mile per hour minimum speed through the
But the other way you could do it is just to charge more when it's quick. If it then's only the people who really need to get there or want to get there are like me, probably left late again. Those people who are going to be desperate to actually get to a dinner or get to an interview on time, like me, they are going to actually pony up that additional like $20 to get between here and there on time.
Life's always about, if you can afford to avoid trouble, you can avoid trouble.
Yeah.
And this lane's just part of life.
I know. I agree. But I actually don't. I'm not a big fan of making the tolls higher regardless for folks, but I do understand that if you think that is going away anytime soon, you're mistaken. It is going to be with us, certainly as we kind of shortchange infrastructure money anyway, and the quality highways, those sort of fees are in our future, not in our past.
So if the first offense we mentioned at the opening here, 520, they're going to start enforcing HOV lane violators with a 3+ minimum occupancy for the HOV lanes or in 520. It's 166 for the first offense, if I'm not mistaken. 336, 186 for the first offense. 336 for the second offense within 2 years. And I love this point. If you put a dummy in the car, a mannequin in the car, an attempt to fake it out, that's a $200
dummy fee?
Yeah, dummy fee. Yeah, I'm trying to find the right way to frame this out. Yeah, for creativity charge.
Right.
For trying.
On top of the fine.
On top of the fine. Yeah.
I like it. I actually think that you need to make those fines expensive enough that it actually does change behavior. Yeah, they know full well that once you get fines to a certain level, it absolutely changes behavior.
Most folks tell you that they often ride the HOV lanes alone.
Right.
And then just do the math. If I
see it all the time.
If I pull it off 100 times and get caught once, I'm spending $2 a trip.
Right.
And it's a screaming deal for them.
Right.
But if you make that fee so high, getting caught one time is a real game changer.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to make the penalty. That's the way. If you want to really increase your enforcement or your capacity to not have to enforce someone, make it expensive.
I love reading the polls on this. We got a story. This story's from Como News. To give them credit, I love the Como polls. The Como polls asked the people who read this story over at Como News, how often do you drive in the HOV lanes without the required number of people? And the number one vote getter was never. 67% say they've never driven in the car in the HOV lane without the number of people.
Pretty close. I mean, except for those cases where the lane I'm in turns into the HOV lane, which happens in various areas.
So you're just forced in there and having a chance to get over.
Well, you're in the far left lane, and suddenly it changes, and then you realize, oh, wow, and I got to get it. But generally speaking, unless again on my motorcycle I'm legally allowed to, I never do. I never camp out in that lane.
2/3 say they never do. 1/5, 21% say they
That's good to hear.
They do it all the time.
I mean,
they're playing the odds.
I've been on a lot of freeways where it has been slow and the carpool lane has been empty, and so I think that actually, at least it passes the eyeball test. At least when I'm out on the roads, I think people generally are pretty good about it. Honestly,
you ride a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle. You ride it much more often than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me? Now that summer's finally here, this is the unofficial first weekend of summer. Memorial Day is on Monday. Have you seen an increase in lane splitting of late, or is it just me?
I haven't seen an increase in lane splitting. I mean, I used to when I lived in California where it's legal.
Right, exactly.
And then it was nearly legal in Washington State.
They toyed with the idea.
Yeah, well, they got enough votes, and then the Washington State Patrol stepped in and sort of made it not. They somehow got the legislature to agree to not bring it to a vote, even though there was plenty of votes to move it through. They don't want that extra thing to have to enforce. And candidly, they're right in that the adjustment period, when people don't know that is legal, is going to make it hard. But as a motorcyclist, you also can make that choice about not doing it or doing it. Personally, it exists in a lot of countries, and I think in California, the down there, the Highway Patrol has said they don't find a measurable change in the number of accidents. The problem sometimes is just sort of relative speed, and you're not supposed to be doing it. If everyone's doing 70, you're not supposed to be doing 90 lane splitting.
Right.
I mean, this is designed for when it's 25 miles an hour and you lane splitting at 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, or something along those lines.
Is there a speed limit cap on lane splitting
in
California?
In California there is, but boy, I've never seen that enforced.
Right.
You know?
And your point about there's a learning curve with lane splitting.
Yeah.
And up here where you're not used to it, and it's not legal, even when it is legal.
And then there's also this other learning curve that's more of the social curve, in that people get, even in California, who are not aware, who moved from another state or just have spent all of their life not really looking outside their windows.
Change right.
They resent it. They see it and they think it's illegal, and they get angry. And there's been, I don't even know how many hundreds of documented cases of people sliding in to crowd you out, which is potentially fatal.
Right.
You know, maybe throwing open a door, things like that.
Geez.
Like all of that kind of stuff happens down there, even now that it's legal. And again, I mean, it's already dangerous enough to be out there on a motorcycle.
Yeah, it is.
I understand why the state didn't prove it. I'm a little bit bummed that they didn't. Certainly when it's back, because I've gotten through miles of backups by lane splitting in California that you can't do here. And it was very convenient and at a speed that was safe. But, you know, not for us. Not here. You can't have nice things.
I've got an air-cooled bike. I got a Harley. I've pulled over on the side of the road. My bike overheats, and you got to pull over and just let it cool down. I would have loved to have lane split, but I just fear for my own life.
Yeah.
People here don't expect it. Don't prepare for it. Don't look back before they change lanes.
That is entirely true. All right, Nate. This was an entire section of the show talking about nothing but the highways and commuting and HOV lanes and all of that sort of stuff. So it's this natural segue. I learned a lot.
We're your opener for you, buddy.
That sounded like a touch ironic.
No, I did. I learned a lot, especially with the lane splitting.
We left an opening for you, buddy.
All right, Nate. What's going on out there?
It's a busy commute. Bucky's Complete Auto Care has our update. In fact, let me just start with our closure on State Route 18 this afternoon. Maple Valley, both directions of State Route 18 are shut down at the State Route 169 interchange. So eastbound is actually being detoured way back at 256. Westbound, both of the general purpose lanes are blocked, but they're letting you squeeze by on the right shoulder, so you can get by, but it's a long trip to get through. No estimated time to reopen, so you'll need to just avoid State Route 18 this afternoon until further notice. Tacoma to Olympia is struggling at an hour 15. Your biggest holdup is growing at 6 Mile. Hefty backup now along JBLM starting near Bridgeport. Seattle to Federal Way, give yourself 40 minutes. It's heavy from the Duwamish curve to 516. North 405, bumper to bumper from I-5 and South Center through the S-curves. Just volume here. South Center to Bellevue is up to a half hour. Crossing the lake from Bellevue into Seattle, plan on a half hour on both bridge routes. And Bellevue to Everett, a 1 hour drive. Seattle to Everett, closer to 50 minutes. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hargan.
And I'm Matt DeFactor.
It has been a Northwest staple since 1977, a landmark when giving directions.
We chat with the Director of Sales and Marketing as Wild Waves prepares for its final season.
Mariners head for Kansas City. Join us for the Rick Riz Show.
And are you looking for something to do this holiday weekend?
KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden has your weekend planner.
That's tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagner.com MD.com.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Washington, recent headlines might concern you. Talk of pocket listings or private networks where only certain consumers see certain properties are all over the media. Good news. The legislature recently passed a bill to protect you in your transaction. No secret deals, all listings available for everyone to see, not just an exclusive club of insiders. This means more competition, better offers, and fair access for all consumers. Learn more at warealtor.org. Sponsored by Washington Realtors.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
A shot to center field. Julio is there, and Julio makes the catch!
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house, even when there's not an actual seat, because you're in the T-Mobile pen.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
The pen isn't just the perfect space to hang with your whole crew. It's where you can see Julio defend the no-fly zone 1 minute and watch Senor Smoke get ready for his big entrance the next.
Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Sure, the pen is standing room only, but with a team this exciting, who wants to be sitting down? Mariners baseball. Try this up.
90s weekend is coming up as the Mariners take on the D-backs. The fun gets started May 29th with 90s Fireworks Night presented by T-Mobile. Then it's back-to-back giveaways with Julio Rodriguez sleeveless jerseys on May 30th and Ken Griffey Jr. pins on May 31st. Both presented by Key Bank. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Chilling surveillance video is now out. It shows the moments leading up to the stabbing death of a UW student. We get the latest now from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
Surveillance video from the Nordheim Court Apartments laundry room shows Leahy entering behind a young woman who actually holds the door for him. They both leave, and later in the video, Juniper can be seen sitting on the laundry room floor. Leahy then re-enters, looks directly at the camera, and walks out before the video ends. Prosecutors allege he unplugged the camera before the assault. That video is available if you want to see it at mynorthwest.com. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Marysville man is now in jail accused in a string of mail thefts. Prosecutors say he was seen on surveillance footage recently going through a cluster mailbox stealing personal bank information. Linwood Police Commander Joe Dickinson says the crime stretched from Stanwood, Marysville, Arlington, and beyond.
Found more and more victims, upward of 80 to 100, maybe more. We're not sure, right? So because this spans from not just Linwood, Bothell, other agencies, other communities that are affected.
The suspect made his first court appearance today. He's expected to be charged tomorrow. People living along Seattle's Aurora Avenue say they are fed up with the crime. KIRO 7 TV's El Thomas reports they're demanding action from local leaders.
They released a joint statement to Mayor Katie Wilson, council members, and Seattle police, calling the situation a public safety failure unfolding in real time. They say in part, quote, the continued lack of urgency communicates a devastating message that the safety of Aurora residents is acceptable collateral damage.
And that same group sent another letter to city leaders today reporting even more gunshots along Aurora last night. Memorial Day weekend's coming up, and the ferry system is expecting some long lines. WashDOT's Justin Fujioka.
Be prepared for what is expected to be a very busy Memorial Day holiday weekend. And just to be kind to our employees, they're working hard through the holiday weekend, to safely move all of you and us to where we need to be to celebrate.
It says they're expecting some 350,000 people between today and Monday. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk. Check in with Nate Connors.
All right, it is busy out there already, Aaron. This one brought to us by the Harnish Auto family. Got an update for you on our closure on 18 up at Maple Valley. So westbound 18 has reopened right there at State Route 169 at the interchange, the scene of this collision in the eastbound lane. So eastbound 18, you're still closed at the collision site. And we've got a car or two in the median with injuries, so this is going to be closed for a while. No estimated time to reopen. Eastbound is actually shut down back at 256th, and your backup starts way back at 304th. Tacoma to Olympia is struggling this afternoon. Hour 15-minute commute. You've got 3 backups. South Tacoma, you're solid between JBLM and DuPont, and then again between Lacey and Olympia. Seattle to Federal Way is at 40 minutes with heavy volumes from the Duwamish Curve to 516. Bellevue to Renton plan on a half hour. It's also a half hour from South Center to Bellevue today, and 405 is bumper to bumper through South Center, slowly thinning out through the S-curves. Crossing the lake from Bellevue is a half-hour trip on both bridge routes. 45 minutes now to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5. And on the water, the Mukilteo and Edmonds ferry terminals are both reporting 1 hour wait for drivers. The Harnish Auto family super sale through May 31st. Exclusive deals, 0 down and no payments all summer on approval of credit. In Puyallup and Everett, Harnish Auto family, people matter. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Fair skies this afternoon, more sunshine tomorrow, highs in the mid-70s. Right now, 74 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It starts on your street, in your home, with a problem you're struggling to solve. That's where KIRO 7 Investigates comes in. They show up, they ask hard questions, they get you answers. When your story is seen, change isn't just possible, it's already happening. Watch KIRO 7 News weeknights, 5 to 6:30 p.m. and at KIRO7.com/investigates.
This hour brought to you by Bucky's Auto Repair. Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Mike Lewis, Spike O'Neill here. This is a pretty... this is one of those stories that I genuinely enjoy reading in any news environment, but particular when it comes to local politics, because one of the great problems in local politics is the fundamental lack of engagement from the populace, mainly because people are busy. They got jobs, they got kids, they've got all kinds of things they need to pay attention to, but it's nice to see when a community actually, and even if I don't always agree with the decision, that a community actually gets engaged in its local political situation. I'm bringing you to Bothell, Washington now. Bothell police officer Garrett Ware, this is a story from King 5, was a trusted part of Bothell High School's campus community for nearly a decade. When the North Shore School District Board voted 4-1 on May 11th to eliminate his position, it sparked student walkouts, a community-wide recall effort against the board members who supported the move. Just days after the vote, this same officer helped defuse a situation on campus with a student armed with a knife. An incident supporters said underscores exactly why the position should remain. The Bothell police said the decision was not budget-related. Students believe a more personal politics drove the outcome. So the people in the community in Bothell are coming for the seats. And I kind of like the idea of, now I'm not sure where I fall in on the specific details of this, because maybe there's something else going on here that I'm not aware of, but I do like one, it seems odd. A single, and I know that in a city, a single, what they refer to as an FTE, a full-time employment, a single one is still an expensive thing, because it's not just a salary, it's a salary and the benefits. Mm-hmm. And that can make it expensive, and that let's just say it's $120K or $130K or something like that for this officer and benefits. That's actually money that is noticeable in a city of that size budget. Even though I'm sure the city has a multi-million-dollar budget, it still is a noticeable amount when you're trying to cut all kinds of stuff and keep the budget relatively trim. But in this particular case, it seems like an odd one to go for, given that there is, in most school districts, certainly, there has been a push to return to the campus officer, not to go away from the campus officer.
So this is the North Shore School District.
Yes.
This was the last SRO,
right,
school resource officer in the district. He was at Bothell High School, Officer Ware, for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
At the public meeting that was held before the school board vote, which went 4-1 to not renew the contract.
Right.
Contract was an annual contract between the Bothell Police Department and the school district. They have to vote on annually, and even though the public, the students, the parents, the faculty of the school, including the principal, all spoke to the value of this particular this officer in that community. They spoke to how his engagement with the student body, all the benefits that it had garnered for over 10 years. And despite all that public comment in favor of retaining this officer, they voted 4-1 to eliminate the contract. Those 4 board members that voted against it cited not protests, but people who spoke against having the SRO there because they said it fed into perceptions that the students felt uneasy with a cop on campus. They felt that he would be used for disciplinary reasons. None of this was the case. And the school board voted, despite all this public input, to end this contract. And as you mentioned, the community is not taking it lying down. They've started the petition to have the recall vote on these 4 school board members. Students, 500 students walked out. Initial reports were almost 300. Now it's 500 students left school the Monday following this vote, which was on the 11th, to say, look, this is a member of our community. Everybody in that school had something positive to say about Officer Ware's involvement in that community. And the students in that school district were polled, and 70% of the students in that school district said they felt safe going to school.
Right.
You know, they were comfortable. Parents were comfortable knowing their kids when they see their school kids every day. I don't know any community that can brag about those kind of numbers. And losing this officer just seems ridiculous.
And on top of that, I would assume, and I don't know, and if any of you have worked with or worked as a school resource officer, give us a text, 188-973-5476. I am curious. I suspect that in any law enforcement job, time on the job matters in terms of how you do your job and your connection with your community and things like this. But I would say, as a microcosm of that or a distillate of that, on school, like your first year, the kids probably don't trust you. I mean, they're probably more concerned about what they're potentially doing or saying in front of you. But over time, I would assume that if you are an officer on a campus, that's where you get comfortable, and they get comfortable enough to sort of come to you when there's a problem that they don't want to necessarily go to a teacher for, or when you start recognizing patterns among the students and you start actually cluing into the community a little bit better. It seems to me like this particular officer, I'm guessing, given the testimony at the city meeting, is much, much better at that job at this point than this officer was, 8 years ago.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're also losing. Is like you're losing an enormous amount of experience, I think, in a type of law enforcement where that experience is incredibly vital. And I think that it's pretty clear that there's something potentially else going on here. That it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense when it was pretty clear how the public felt about this.
Well, the school board members who voted against retaining this officer's tenure at the school, they said they were trying to stand up for the element of that community that felt uncomfortable around law enforcement officers, that had bad perceptions of law enforcement officers. And their solution wasn't to have a positive example of law enforcement to help change those perceptions among the families and students of that school. Their solution was to eliminate an officer altogether and just hide their kids from the police.
Well, or how about, and I don't know, just a shot in the dark here, but how about arranging a sit-down Q&A, a town hall with this officer
and the concerned parents?
And put them in a room and say, why don't you express your concerns, and let's just see, before we move ahead on a 4-1 vote, let's just see whether or not he can address your concerns. And I think that would be entirely appropriate. I can't imagine that anyone would be against that, and that seems to me like a smarter way. And that way also it brings the whole process into the public, which is vital in this sort of, because now everyone is very resentful and feels like decisions were made behind their back, and they're not happy and they don't understand why. But this gives an opportunity to address all of that, and maybe there would have been something there that those folks still would have been angry about having a cop on campus, and maybe that at least like the opinions would be
you look
clear,
at all the options before
and
this,
you would actually understand sort of what really the issue is here, because that's what we don't know at this point, and it seems like a major mistake.
Well, it seems they had a political agenda.
Yes, exactly.
To fly directly in the face of what the community clearly stated that they wanted.
So, we do know with certainty what Nate's agenda is at this particular.
Is he here for us?
He is here for us, and we are in a 2-0 vote in favor of Nate telling us what's going on.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, guys.
He's a resource orator.
Yeah, there we go. Seattle Sports has our update. Let's start you with eastbound 18. It remains closed this afternoon, shut down really at 2:56 now due to this long-term collision further up the road at the 169 interchange in Maple Valley. The detour sends you eastbound 516 to northbound 169, and from there you'll get back on to 18. Westbound 18 reopened about 25 minutes ago. Tacoma to Olympia, and it's struggling at an hour 15. You've got back up through South Tacoma. It gets really heavy between JBLM and DuPont, and then another backup between Lacey and Olympia. This is just growing exponentially throughout the afternoon. Renton to Puyallup, we're at 40 minutes. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you a half hour. 45 minutes through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5, and we're struggling from the Michigan Curve all the way across the Ship Canal Bridge. There is some good news this afternoon. The Chinook and Cayuse passes reopened about an hour and a half ago over Mount Rainier following the annual winter closure. So we have another route over to the other side of the state. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The G and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster, but somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
G and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
John Curley here. Hi, everybody. I was thinking the other day that I can't think of anybody that wants to replace a heating system. When it goes out, you want it done right, and you want it done fast. And that's why right now is the smart time to upgrade cooling before summer hits and you're stuck waiting weeks. Home Comfort Alliance makes it so easy. Their online price estimator takes just 60 seconds to give you clear, honest information so you make a great decision without wasting time. And right now, when you upgrade to a Lennox cooling system, Home Comfort Alliance will give you a new heating system free. Plus, they'll handle all utility rebates and available discounts to get you the best possible value on Lennox. For a quote right now, visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical, call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery, and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Ageless Living and asked about respite care. A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Ageless Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Aegis Living offers. That's aegisliving.com/spike.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Washington is helping men take control of their health with a free, comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value included when starting treatment. Your panel checks key health markers, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidneys, liver, and thyroid, so you can finally understand what your body's been trying to tell you. Since 2011, over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Get answers, get a plan, and start feeling better. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free, comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you've been thinking about a new Subaru Outback, now is the time. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership, and right now they have over 800 Subarus in stock, including the 2026 Outback with 2.9% APR. Perfect for escaping town the second the sun comes out. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 5/31/26.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With Smart Business Buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. It's Mike Lewis and Spike O'Neill. The Seattle Center. Everyone is feeling, I think, pretty optimistic in Seattle that the Supersonics are going to be making a return. It's a matter of settling on who is going to be the owner of that team, and then how you get all that ice out of there all the time to play basketball. Perhaps they just play basketball in crampons. Maybe that's what happens. But what's actually happening is that now what you're going to be seeing, especially if you spend any time going to the arena or to Seattle Center, is all of the prep work that goes, because the arena is done and dusted. It's a brand new arena. There is nothing. They're going to have to make some modifications, but really nothing that you're going to notice when you attend your first new 2.0 Seattle Supersonics team game. But the rest of the arena, the rest of Seattle Center has needed work for a long time. This is one of those areas that it was easy for the city to ignore it for a long time because, well, the former Key Arena was very little used for quite a long time. Yes. I mean, and as an aside, the best naming rights deal in American history probably is Key Arena, because it was called Key Arena for something like 12 years after that contract expired because the sign was still on. No one ever walked away from it. KeyBank was still around. They're not paying anything, and people to this day still call it. Now, finally, you're hearing everyone say climate pledge, but if you're walking around Queen Anne, people still call it Key all the time. The Key. I mean, that was the name. And so, as an aside, though, that's done, but the rest of Seattle Center is not. And there are all kinds of areas in the Armory, fountains that need a.
It looks like it's 64
to be buffed up some.
It looks like it's 64 years old.
Yeah, and there's a couple of pools that are not even used anymore. Right. Not swimming pools, but
the pools
reflection pools,
like the Science Center pools.
That are not used anymore, mainly because the plumbing is decrepit. And so this is an effort to fancy it up a bit prior to yet another team coming in. I mean, this is the kind of infrastructure stuff that is, I think, in some ways, I would definitely put it, and I imagine the city does too, as a lower priority than, fixing roads, fixing things in the neighborhoods, critical bad areas and wastewater treatment plants, whatnot. But I'm actually pretty happy with it because as a person who, I walk through Seattle Center 8 times a week, 9 times a week. I mean, because, our business is very, very close. And I'm walking through it all the time. And it looks actually at a glance great, but it gets a little worse upon close inspection. And so if it is going to be used that regularly and that consistently, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people in Seattle Center, concerts, everything.
You bet.
And with the rebuilding the Memorial Stadium as well, they might as well jump in and do all this stuff. I think it makes a ton of sense. This is one of those city spends that I'm a big fan of.
What I love about the vote is it's still Seattle 1962 when you look at that needle.
Yeah.
And they're not going to wipe it clean because look around the city, nothing's like it used to be. You don't recognize anything.
And they're still enforcing the whole idea that the needle needs to have a certain amount of distance between it and other buildings, so it's always so you can see it from those those 7 points in town that you're supposed to be able to see the thing. I kind of like they're keeping true to the thing while just fixing up what needs to be fixed. Nate Connors.
Sir, hello.
What needs to be fixed out on the roads?
Oh, man.
Right now?
A lot, actually. Things are just getting worse out there. Let's update you with our closure. Eastbound 18 through Maple Valley. We're shut down at 256 due to a long-term collision at the 169 interchange. Got a new collision out toward Kingston now on State Route 104 at Highland Road. It's got both directions of 104 blocked here. That's a milepost 21, and this could make you late for your ferry. No estimated time to reopen. Hopefully this will open soon for you. Seattle to Everett, 55 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, an hour 5. South 5 into Seattle is bumper to bumper from Northgate Way to I-90. 45 minutes from Linwood into downtown, and it's a 45-minute drive through downtown Seattle northbound I-5 to get through this 9-mile backup that starts at the Michigan curve. Traffic is stressful. One thing that's always stress-free, great pricing on over 300 new Subarus with easy financing at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A legend of the NASCAR scene, Kyle Busch, has died at age 41. His family earlier today said he had been hospitalized with a serious illness. But as CBS's Tom Hansen reports,
he was born in Las Vegas, and his career spanned more than 2 decades. Many people calling Busch a champion among champions. Now, just a short time ago, a joint statement was released from the Busch family, Richard Childress Racing, and all of NASCAR saying we are devastated to announce the sudden and tragic passing of Kyle Busch.
Busch, a 2-time Cup Series champion, was racing just a couple of weeks ago. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest on a lawsuit challenging the nearly $2 billion fund resulting from President Trump's settlement with the IRS.
2 police officers who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are suing the Trump administration to try and stop a newly created fund that they worry could reward the rioters.
It's just that they committed crimes and they recorded themselves doing these crimes. So then they face the consequences right up until Trump pardoned them.
Officer Daniel Hodges and retired U.S. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn have filed a lawsuit to try and block the Justice Department's new nearly $1.8 billion fund set up to compensate those who claim they were targeted by the Biden Justice Department.
In the nation of Congo, some residents are worried about the spread of Ebola, and now the U.S. is requiring anyone who might be traveling from that area to be screened upon return. CBS's Ian Lee has more.
In the heart of the Congo outbreak, frustrated residents prevented from retrieving the body of a loved one set fire to this Ebola treatment center. Missionary Dr. Peter Stafford, who treated patients, is the only American confirmed with the virus and is critically ill. He is now hospitalized in Berlin, where his family are among 6 Americans being monitored for symptoms.
Tonight marks the end of the Late Night with Stephen Colbert show, and fellow late night talk show hosts, including ABC's Jimmy Kimmel, hope you'll watch.
I think it is most important to congratulate Stephen and the team at The Late Show for all the great work. All the great work he will continue to do in other venues, I have no doubt.
Colbert's competitors are airing reruns tonight. CBS News is saying goodbye to what existed before any of its television and streaming platforms.
CBS Radio News will sign off for the last time.
And what do you think America will miss most about it? It's been around for a long time, or really an American institution is what we're losing here. And I think people will notice that.
It's been a reliable companion for generations. Now this American institution will lose its voice.
That's CBS's Mark Strassman with our Steve Kathan. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up, a school superintendent accused of a cover-up now under arrest. That's after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Global Credit Union has our busy update. It is a rough commute across a good chunk of the region today. A couple of closures aren't helping. Let's start with eastbound 18, shut down at 256 heading into Maple Valley due to our long-term collision further up the road at the 169 interchange. Westbound 18 is back open. Out toward Kingston, we've got a crash that has both directions of State Route 104 closed at Highland Road, milepost 21. And this could make you late to your ferry. There's no estimated time to reopen this. South 5, bumper to bumper from Northgate to I-90, 45 minutes from Linwood into downtown Seattle. It's also 45 minutes through downtown on northbound I-5. It's heavy from the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal Bridge. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, 35 minutes on 520. You're bumper to bumper from 84th to I-5. Half hour on I-90. It's heavy from North Mercer to I-5. And then eastbound 90 is suddenly filling in from Rainier Avenue all the way out to North Mercer. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour and 15 minutes. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. An investigation in Longview has now led to the arrest of the district's superintendent. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports.
This all stems from a rape investigation at Mark Morris High School that rocked the community this midwinter. Basketball players forcing younger teammates into a windowless locker room and assaulting them. Police say they heard about it on social media and then contacted the district, but Superintendent Karen Cloninger told them it had already been handled. Ultimately, a parent made a report. 2 teens were arrested and charged. Police say Cloninger not only knew about what happened, but told staff not to talk to police. She's accused of witness tampering, failure to report, and obstructing a law enforcement officer.
And police say at least one more school administrator is expected to be arrested. Pressure is growing on Seattle city leaders to address crime along Aurora Avenue. Community members have now sent multiple requests to the mayor, police, and city council, saying repeated shootings are tied to sex trafficking. More from KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha.
Bullets flying by homes, in one case right through the bedroom of a baby, and school children walking by bullet casings. Rudy Pantoja says he's seen it all.
Then all of a sudden you've got gunfire going off. You hear them screaming.
Sarah catches the bus here often. Her demands are spelled out in the letter calling out city leaders.
They need to have a lot more squad cars out here. There's shootings here like every night now.
Neighbors are demanding immediate action, including stepped-up patrols, more cameras, and a dedicated trafficking task force. A Republican state senator is urging Governor Bob Ferguson to temporarily suspend Washington's Climate Commitment Act. This as gas prices continue to rise due to the Iran war. Senator Chris Gildon estimates that suspending the carbon cap program could cut about 55 cents off every gallon of gas.
Experts down in Olympia tell me that could start having an impact on people's pockets within a matter of just a couple of weeks.
Now, supporters of the CCA say it's essential to meeting the state's climate goals, and we have reached out to the governor's office for comments on that. To your forecast now, sunshine right now, clear skies again tomorrow, highs once again in the mid-70s, right now 75 and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Spike O'Neill here, Mike Lewis here. So this is a actually, let me ask Aaron Granillo since he's here as well. Yeah, Aaron, so how old are your kids? That's more important we ask him this than you,
Sure.
Spike.
I have an 8 and a 4-year-old.
8 and a 4-year-old.
Perfect.
And how old are yours?
My kids are now 37 and 23.
Exactly why I was saying this point. So have you been, and I don't mean to get too personal of a question here, but have you been in any way anxious to be able to take the whole family to Hooters for dinner at any point?
I didn't see where this was going. No.
So this story is not actually the story for you.
Confidently say no. Especially I have 2 little girls as well.
And so taking them to Hooters was not anything that you were going to try and pull off. Like, okay. All right. Well,
last time I wanted to go to Hooters was probably in college with my boys.
All right. So
last time you wanted to go to Hooters, there was a Hooters just down the street from here, which is now had been
there
for
was
years.
one at South Lake Union when I moved in. I was shocked that Seattle had one.
I can tell you with a hand on a Bible, I took my kid there all the time.
There you go.
All the time.
Hand on a Bible. All right.
My wife required me to eat wings with one hand, the other hand on a Bible every time we went there.
Is Bible sort of an O'Neill family?
Please,
metaphor for
please.
Okay. All right.
We had a holiday. We had a gun.
So Hooters apparently, and again, Aaron, I realize this doesn't matter to you, sport, but it does matter to some people. Hooters is now becoming family friendly.
Yeah.
According to the New York Times, Hooter is saying, bring the kids.
It's their first memory, make it their last. Sorry. I have a marketing degree. I have to
and it's so I can get into the specifics, but I don't really need to. Hooters, you know what Hooters has represented, from bikini nights to
short shorts and tight t-shirts.
Short shorts, tight t-shirts, the works.
Yep.
Hooters is now, I don't know that it's changing that end of the business so much. That's not entirely clear. But what it is trying to do is just make it so, hey, this is a great place to bring your family, your entire family, on the same lines as like a Chevy's or someplace like that, and make it less about, your boys going there for, if you're in college or just post-college. This is becoming a family. Do you think, so I guess the question is then, let's just put it out to the entire group. Anyone who wants to weigh on this, I want you to feel free to weigh in on this. Would you, with the new family-friendly Hooters, if you happen to be living in Florida, in the new family-friendly Hooters, would you take your family there for dinner? Spike, you first.
I had for years.
You had for years.
When there was a Hooters in Tacoma, in Lake Union, in Bellevue.
There's that many in this area?
Oh, yeah.
There was one in Linwood, too.
Of course, Linwood, yeah.
Wow.
Well, it goes without saying. I think it's part of the
right.
we have to have a Hooters. There's a place called Twin Peaks. It's a restaurant.
Yeah, that's
down
the
by
Hooters
South
analog,
Center.
right? Yeah.
It's Hooters with flannel.
Right.
It's Hooters in the fall, if you will. It's titillation. Okay.
Right.
It's attractive young women.
Right.
It's a guy's place. It's a beer place. But we've never had anything but family-friendly experiences there. No one's lewd or untowards there. In fact, it's very respectful of the ladies who work there.
Right.
It's always been my experience anyway. And the kids loved it, man. When kids like wings, kids love crab legs. The waitress would come over with our kid and teach the kid how to hula hoop. Which helped every other guy at the other table. They love that too.
Before I go to Mike with the same question, I just want to ask you: has anyone ever told you that, as someone did me? Look, Mike, the reason I go to Hooters is for the food. And do you actually believe that?
Yeah.
I thought the food there was pretty. I went there once.
Yeah,
the one in South Lake Union.
Impressed?
I thought it was. There was nothing memorable about it. That's not what was memorable about it.
I thought no. What was it? The food came in second.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. But it was still pretty. I love the wings at Hooters.
Mike,
I love them.
Would you take your family to Hooters for dinner?
Sure.
Right.
Sure, why not? My experience was very similar to yours, Mike. The food is delightfully average.
Yeah, pretty forgettable.
It's fine, But yeah, if they want to make a go of making it family friendly, very similar to Twin Peaks, which I think is a more tasteful version of the restaurant, if you will, of that type of thing. In fact, actually, this is such an embarrassing story. Twin Peaks down in Tukwila is one of the few restaurants that was open during like late COVID. Like COVID was just about done and things were just starting to open up. Twin Peaks was open. I went there with a buddy of mine. I did not know what it was until I looked up. I was just like, oh, it's a little drafty. Oh no.
You see, Twin Peaks already had an existing 6-foot rule about the waitresses.
Yeah.
So COVID was perfect for them.
Exactly. Yeah. And the food, very delightful, actually. Yeah. Had a great time there.
Would you rather have great waitresses or average food, or average waitresses and great food? I mean, that's a choice people make.
Yeah. All right. So, Aaron, now hearing these strong endorsements, are you now thinking like, hey, I'm taking my family?
So, no. I'm a no. And it's not... I'm not judging anybody who wants to take their family. I'm really not. It's fine if you want to do that. Yeah. Not my cup of tea.
Fair
That's
enough.
fine.
Fair enough.
And also, I'm going to...
cups of tea.
I'm going to sound like a yuppie liberal Seattle foo-foo guy here, but if I'm going to go out to eat, I kind of want to support local too.
Right,
so,
yeah.
and, you know,
not franchise.
I don't go out to eat a ton. I like to cook. So if I do go out, I don't want to go to a chain. That's just kind of me.
All right, let's see if there was a local chain called Mount Rainiers. As a plural.
Right?
Wow, you got... Oh, Mike, come on, man.
Would you go to that?
Oh, man.
Boy, that's a good... you got me. No, I probably wouldn't. I probably would not. Yeah.
On Olympics.
All right.
It's great.
All right, then.
Drink specials with vitamin R, tall boys, that would be great. I would go to that. That's a great idea.
When I was in Phoenix recently, though, my wife and I, just her and I, we did go to a Twin Peaks.
And?
So I'm not like opposed to these places or anything
I get
like
you.
that.
What was the food? Was it Mike's
we
description?
stopped
Was
there
that excellent?
for a quick drink because it was convenient for us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right, then. Well, there you go. I think that's probably all we need to say about it. It looks like that it is more leaning toward, yes, I take my family, and you have actually taken your family.
Numerous times. And Hooters isn't changing anything.
No.
They're not like putting on longer shorts or looser T-shirts. Nope. They're just saying, look, folks, nothing.
There's nothing sleazy about it.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not? And especially if your kids like wings and crab legs. All right. So well, I don't know.
Where do you want to go? Let's do it.
No. So what I wanted to talk about is I was trying to figure out some way to transition between these two things, but I just couldn't do it. So I'm not going to do it. Seattle is proposing a ban on data centers. This has been
more harmful than Hooters.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Much more
data centers
harmful.
are much more harmful than Hooters.
I would say that that's probably true, and certainly no place to take a family for dinner.
Right.
And the issue here is that this is kind of a little bit counterintuitive. Whenever anyone talked about data centers, certainly in Washington State, it was always expected that these were going to be these far-flung data centers in Yakima Valley, in places with wide open spaces.
Beyond Wenatchee over in that
and
neck of town.
It turns out that some of the best places to put them are within cities, because some cities have already have enormous power flow into them, sometimes exceeding what the city needs on a daily basis. And so the folks who are tracking, megawatts, and there's a lot of folks tracking megawatts now, like where they're available and where you can buy some, those folks are looking to cities now to build major data centers. But it looks like this is an outgrowth of the general anxiety about AI that I think is pervasive in the United States. I mean, it's on polling at every income level and at every age, regardless of gender. People are concerned about the headlong rush into this and the way it's going to affect jobs, and it's just human existence, and particularly energy consumption and, by extension, the environment. Seattle has decided that it's going to get out there because it's one of those cities where I think four
proposed
big data centers.
Big data centers. Yeah.
Were proposed and are going to maybe go through the permitting process. And Seattle leaders are saying, we don't want them. What do you think?
I think the rush to feed the beast that is tech, with regard to these, whether it's Google or it's Amazon or it's Meta, all these AI-driven billions and tens of billions of dollars in investment in AI from these mega corporations. I think it's good to pull the reins in a little bit, pump the brakes a little bit on these things, especially with regard to being inside the city limits of Seattle. We have 30 existing data centers in Seattle, and they consume quite a bit of power. But when you talk about the 4 that are being proposed, these mega data centers in Seattle,
Right.
I heard somebody, one of the people at the public hearing said, it's equating my bearded dragon to Godzilla, how much more power these particular data centers would consume. And they still don't know the ramifications with regard to the environment, with regard to the usage of power, drawing from the city. Then the city of Seattle we don't have excessive power.
Right.
We need power. We're paying for power elsewhere. I think it's great to pump the brakes. You talk about AI being unpopular on every front. When you have these mega corporations becoming that's who was standing at the dais next to the president during the inauguration for a reason.
Right.
We're at a dawn of, I think it was somebody earlier. Oh, James Lynch earlier today had a story about AI kidnapping plots now, where AI is being used to fake voices. And you got your put my wife on the phone, and the AI can mimic your wife's voice from random samplings across the internet and social media. AI is just moving too fast.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that it's going to move fast. Our adoption of it is moving just as fast, which is interesting.
And it needs to be regulated. I guess my point about who was with the president at the inauguration, these guys are investing in this administration because that's the only governing over how fast AI grows and what it can do. There needs to be federal regulation on what AI can and can't do.
Yeah, but we have shown in the United States, regardless of administration's political leanings, that we are unwilling to regulate big tech. We have shown that time.
No, that's fair. I don't mean to pick on this particular administration.
Yeah,
this is the
feel
moment.
Free, but
this is AI's dawning moment, and we never need regulation more than we do right now with regard to this technology.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that from a data center standpoint, I don't know why necessarily, let's just say a city does have an excess, why you would want to then claim that excess for something that is going to, they consume, these big data centers, make it consume as much money as a small city. They really are consuming. As much power, as much available bandwidth as a small city will. Why would you and that once it's claimed, right? You're not getting that back. So I don't know why the deal with AI, with data centers wanting to come into a town or come into any area isn't automatically offset. All right, fair enough. You do the infrastructure work to clear off 4 or 5 giant buildings, get them efficient enough to get mostly off the grid. That energy, go for it, right? But make them actually invest in the infrastructure, not just buy power, but invest in the infrastructure. And the fact is, if you ask them to do that, which is what the taxpayers are going to have to do, they're all going to say, no, we're going to head out to the desert and to a solar farm, or we're going to head somewhere else to try and do our like. It seems to me like if they want that, they should provide something. They should provide the offset. This has been the very uneven application of carbon credits. If you want to pollute, you need to buy that pollution away from something else.
Right? But the problem is when you move to Eastern Washington or wherever it may be to these massive data centers, there's not the transmission infrastructure.
Oh,
to get that power where they need it to be. Am I right about that?
Well, to some degree. The transmission infrastructure is falling apart all over the United States, not just here to there. Right. But there is some capacity, not a lot. But the main thing is that if you want to, there are ways to free up megawatts. One is building new things, and one is to make other things more efficient. We know this, right? This is not the only way you can get additional water supply. There are a couple ways. One is to dam a bunch of valleys, or I guess seed clouds, which doesn't work all that well, or you actually make things more water efficient. So every time you do a load of clothes, you're using 2 gallons less. Write that over 1 million times a year in a municipality, and suddenly you've saved a reservoir worth of water. Yeah. This is what you have to do with electricity. And I don't know why the deal has nothing to do with them buying or paying, but has everything to do with them actually taking charge and finding an efficiency in the system that they can then fund, even if they don't actually have to do the actual, building, but that they can, a specific thing that they can fund. Look, we can do this for these series of buildings or this particular portion of the grid to make it more efficient, but we want to claim that power. That's a deal I'd be listening to. Yeah, but anything short of that, I think I wouldn't.
I'd still be even with that scenario you posed. I'd still be so concerned about the environmental impact with regard to water usage, with regard to noise, peripheral noise.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you build in the offset.
Yeah,
you do something that is going to actually make it net zero. And the thing is, and this is where the math starts falling apart, it won't net zero.
Right.
And then they're going to have to go somewhere else where people are less concerned about it netting zero. But I think that is the data center in urban areas, I think it's an interesting idea. I can see why Seattle is not as interested. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over time, because my guess is that if this still is where the data centers want to build and want to go, they're going to have they're probably already, before they offered this as plan A, they probably had a plan B and a plan C.
They used artificial intelligence to come up with plan C, D,
and we'll see. We'll see exactly like where this is going to go. But I think at this particular point, if I were the leader of a major municipality, I'd be saying, no, not at this point. There's no real upside for people who are already paying a lot for the electricity to actually put more drain on that supply. Nate Connors, has anything gotten better over the course of the last hour?
No.
Oh, rats. All right. Well, what's going on then?
It's a very busy Thursday out there. Let's start update you with our eastbound 18 closure still underway at 256 heading into Maple Valley due to this long-term collision at 169 interchange. So the detour sends you eastbound 16, then northbound on 169, and that'll get you onto 18. Westbound 18 has reopened. Still no estimated time for eastbound to open. Over to Kingston, we're seeing improvement. Traffic is now alternating on State Route 104 at Highland Road at milepost 21 on your way to the ferry terminal. Got a new collision in Everett at South 5 right at 526, blocking the HOV lane. Tacoma to Olympia is struggling at an hour 15. So we've got a backup that starts at South 74th, goes all the way into DuPont, and it's bumper to bumper between Bridgeport and the JBLM main gate, more slowing between Lacey and Olympia. If you're heading out toward Gig Harbor, westbound 16, bumper to bumper from the west end of the Narrows up to Watchet. Seattle to Federal Way is going to take you a half hour. It's slow from 405 to 516. North 405 in South Center, bumper to bumper from I-5 through those S-curves. South Center to Bellevue is up to 35 minutes. Linwood to Seattle has gone up to 50 minutes. And really, your backup starts now at 155th and Shoreline all the way down to I-90. And then North 5 still bumper to bumper from the Michigan curve to the Ship Canal. 45 minutes to get through this. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hargan.
And I'm Matt DeFactor.
It has been a Northwest staple since 1977, a landmark when giving directions.
We chat with the Director of Sales and Marketing as Wild Waves prepares for its final season.
Mariners head for Kansas City. Join us for the Rick Riz Show.
And are you looking for something to do this holiday weekend?
KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden has your weekend planner.
That's tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Some parts of the house just don't seem to work anymore. Like the closet that you open it up and you don't even bother looking in there because it's so jam-packed with stuff. Things fall out all the time. Or you can't quite put the car in a two-car garage because one side of the garage is just full of stuff. Same thing can happen in the laundry room. There's just stuff all over the floor. There's no place to store towels or anything. You know what's happened? It's a closet design problem when you think about it. And maybe even gone as far as having to rent some sort of storage unit to put stuff. Maybe because you just need those rooms, those spaces to be better laid out. And that's where the experts at Closets by Design come to the house. And they customize, truly customize. They see the problems that you have, and they fix them for you. You don't pay the big price, though. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months, 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. I can tell you, when they came to the barn in Cle Elum and did the great work, I am a believer in Closets by Design. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Naturalists from Puget Sound Express report that it's officially humpback whale season in the Salish Sea. Humpbacks were absent from our waters for nearly 100 years due to whaling. In 1997, a female humpback returned, and in 2003, she brought a calf with her, which is when she earned the name Big Mama. She has kept returning along with 8 known calves, 7 grand calves, and 4 great grand calves, and she's back this year as well. Each summer, dozens of other humpbacks return. It's become known as the Humpback Comeback. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds, Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Orcas, humpbacks, gray whales, minke whales, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. New surveillance video is out showing the moments leading up to the stabbing death of a University of Washington student. 31-year-old Christopher Leahy is seen in that video entering the laundry room at the Nordheim Court Apartments, where he's accused of killing 19-year-old Juniper Blessing. More from KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
Prosecutors say Christopher Leahy comes in, looks directly at the camera, and then in the back, we see the victim, Juniper Blessing, kneeling at one of those dryers there. And that was what gave us that really clear view of his face. UW police responding to a stabbing call 10 minutes after this.
And prosecutors allege Leahy disabled the camera before that murder. Police believe they have caught a serial mail thief in Snohomish County. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports the man made his first court appearance today.
Police believe he targeted mailboxes in Stanwood, Marysville, and Arlington, then used victims' personal information to access bank accounts and buy stuff. This is an investigation involving multiple agencies, but Linwood PD tells me they arrested the suspect just last month for DUI, and that arrest led to the discovery of more evidence.
Well, Elon Musk's SpaceX is going public. There's a big local connection here. The company filing its IPO yesterday could raise more than $80 billion. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports SpaceX's Redmond facilities, where the company designs and builds those Starlink internet satellites. The factory produces about 70 satellites a week. The main route between Bremerton and Belfair will be closed for 16 days starting in mid-June. SR 3 is being closed over Gorst Creek to replace an old culvert. The detour for drivers is about 7 miles.
People who use those routes will want to plan some extra time just to make sure, during busy travel times that they can get to their destination on time.
That is WashDOT's Angela Cochran. You can check out the full map and project page at mynorthwest.com. Now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, we are 2 hours into this traffic alert out in Maple Valley. Eastbound 18, you're shut down at 256 due to this long-term collision up at the 169 interchange. So the detour sends you to eastbound 516, then northbound on 169, and that'll get you back onto 18. Westbound 18's open. No estimated time to reopen eastbound. South 5 in Everett at 526, the Boeing Freeway. A collision still blocks the HOV lane. Seattle to Everett, 55 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 1 hour. Linwood to Seattle is a 50-minute commute. We've got a backup that starts at 155th and Shoreline all the way down to I-90. Gets really thick there in Northgate. North 5 are bumper to bumper at the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal Bridge. 45 minutes to get through this 7-mile backup. Renton to Bellevue, 35 minutes. You're slow actually at Northeast 60th in Kirkland all the way to Northeast 30th in Renton. Just barely moving through Bellevue. And Tacoma to Olympia continues to struggle. It's an hour and 15-minute commute. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast looking good. Clear skies tonight, sunny skies again tomorrow. Highs back into the mid-70s. 75 and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of the John Curley Show brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs.
Yum!
Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to the John Curley Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Mike Lewis sitting alongside me here. We've been talking about some serious, heady stuff today. The future of the planet in the hands of AI. Whether or not we invest in the Seattle Center now that the NBA has promised to come home. Let's talk about something a little closer to everybody's heart. And I'm talking about their stomach. And I'm talking about going to the ball game and the cost of taking a family to the ball game with regard to food and snacks. And there's a cure. There's a solution, isn't there, Mike?
Well, I'm not sure. It kind of depends on your family's capacity to make good food, but
fair.
But baseball parks, a good story in the New York Times today on baseball parks, and it's baseball parks' long history of allowing people, more than most other professional sports, certainly not any indoor arena sports, allowing you to bring in your own food. Yeah. And I remember back when it was still Safeco, and Safeco was relatively new. At the time, I think it was the most expensive stadium in North America. I think it held that record for about 8 or 9 years. They, in order to help pay for a lot of that, they initially put down a restriction on bringing outside food in, which people went nuts, pretty angry about that because it had been such a long tradition, and such a long tradition in baseball more than other professional sports that you could bring in your own food, that they relented. And all of the hot dog vendors out there who make as much money selling to people who are eating their dog in advance of the game as they are to selling to people before they walk inside. I mean, people, it's kind of a nice thing. And some of the dogs that are being made by the folks in the other foods now being made by folks out on Occidental and other areas around the stadium are better than what you're going to get at the stadium. In some cases, not. I mean, stadium food has improved dramatically, but it tends to be more expensive.
It does. And the Mariners offer bargain.
And the lines tend to be longer.
Mariners do offer bargain choices.
Absolutely.
For the and they're one of the best teams in baseball at doing that, understanding what it costs to bring a family forward to a ball game. They have bargain ticket nights. They have bargain foods locations throughout the course. And here's a little side tip, by the way. Every usher at the ballpark down at T-Mobile has a list in their pocket. Will tell you exactly what is where. They can tell you where's the $5 hot dog? Where's the $5 beer?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's a great tip.
They have a map. They can tell you exactly. You want one of those ferry boat food truck? They're limited availability of only certain different vendors. They'll tell you exactly where to go, what's on your level, close by to help you make your family have a great experience on a budget.
Well, there you go.
Great asset.
There you go. That's why it pays to have an expert in the room, folks.
So, are you a fan of bringing food into the ball game? Because we used to tell my brother and I had season tickets for the Seahawks for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
When we were both season ticket holders in Baltimore before I moved here, before the Colts left town.
Right.
When he came to town, we bonded over being Seahawks season ticket holders, and we would tailgate with friends. And one of the beauties of a really good, well-established tailgate is that somebody's in charge of cooking and they know what they're doing. And there was ample food pregame, but there was rolled up to-go food at just before kickoff. We would always bring food into Lumen now.
Right.
At the time, it was the Clink. But the ushers let us bring food in through the clear bags that are required for security purposes at the stadium. It's such a respectful thing to show the fan base.
Right.
That you understand it's a tough entertainment choice. It's a tough market to compete for the entertainment dollar in Seattle.
Right.
If you can make it a little easier for families to come in and see your sporting event, whatever it is, by bringing in food from the outside world, it's nice that they see.
Plus, profit margin on drinks is a lot higher.
They want you to bring beer in.
You're not bringing in your own Cokes.
No,
you're not bringing in your own beer.
I may own a plastic flask that doesn't set off metal. I may or may not have over the years.
This is
Ziploc liquor.
The thing. I mean, I'm not saying they're not nice, and I'm not saying there's not a great tradition, and I really do appreciate the fact that vendors outside the arenas can make money on people who are not eating it right then and can pack their own stuff in. I think that's all great. But it's also true that the real profit from a concession standpoint is in the per cost for a large beer
cup
and
cup of fun.
A cup, and the price of a Coke, which is minuscule when you look at it in terms of like what it actually costs to both serve one and buy the syrup. Wholesale. Yeah. It's a very, very different thing than the food, which is actually much more labor intensive and a lot more expensive, and you can't really sell it for the same levels, for the same profit margin that you can, and you can't turn it as quickly. Like you can crank out a bunch of sodas before you can get a hot dog done.
Yeah, there was a story you mentioned. It's in the New York Times about how baseball is an understanding, sports for a sports league that lets people bring food in. There's a story in New York. 6 guys come into security and they've got. One guy's got big Ziplocs full of spaghetti.
Right.
Another guy's got big Ziplocs full of marinara. One guy's got big Ziplocs full of meatballs.
Right.
These guys are making an Italian family.
Someone's bringing in the bowls
night.
And they're making it a whole dinner night out there.
Fantastic.
And it is, and they are, and this is what happens. So what stadiums all over the country have done is, and actually let's just ask you. So of the food you eat regularly, what percentage of it could conceivably be a projectile? Because that is the actual question. that is the actual standard at some stadiums. Like no food, San Diego Padres, no food. That I suppose if you've got a decent arm, every food is possible.
Thank you.
Although throwing a handful of spaghetti at a player that you're angry at is a bigger ask.
I'm surprised New York lets people bring meatballs in. To be honest with you,
yeah,
they're
perfect.
meatball
is kind of a projectable.
They're perfect.
Yeah, especially if you have a slingshot with you.
They're not allowed in Philly.
Right.
For that reason alone.
Totally. But so they don't. So that is some of the restrictions. And yes, that is the story started off famously with this group of people who bring in an entire Italian meal, divided up according to the stadium rules in clear bags, the whole business. So for those of you, and I don't know if any of you out there bring your own food into the stadium, because a lot of people do, bring their own popcorn, bring whatever.
Yeah.
1, I kind of like it as an idea. 2, I think that it is smart for especially in today's world where you are choosing your entertainment dollars carefully, because it's very difficult. If you decide to be a partial Mariners season ticket holder, you're probably not going to be a season ticket holder, or maybe you're doing partials on a bunch, but trying to get season tickets for 2 professional sports, much less the 6 we're going to have and 7 we're going to have in town. Like it is, it's expensive, and allowing people at least a tiny break on the very, very expensive food in those stadiums, I think is and baseball, I think, has also had this amazing benefit in that it still is, from a professional sports standpoint, the cheapest game in town. You can still find a cheap baseball ticket mid-season, even on a reasonably good team, that you cannot find with a football team, that you cannot find with a basketball team, that you cannot ever find with a hockey team.
81 options for the ball game. That's the reason.
Right,
the length of the schedule.
And you've got a lot of games that are going to be played. You can always find a way to get into the stadium. But I like the fact that they honor that even more by allowing people within reason. And I put in a search on trying to find out what the Mariners. I know it's a clear bag environment.
Yeah.
I didn't find any specific food limitations. They've generally been pretty good. I don't know if if you can't bring You can bring an apple as long as that apple has been subdivided into harmless slices.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can bring in an orange for the same,
gosh, that's hilarious.
or a hard-boiled egg.
I don't care how much you love pineapple. You're not bringing that thing in here until you cut it up in little pieces.
Yeah, you're not bringing in a pineapple. Certainly not a watermelon. So I don't. But I kind of like the idea that baseball has this tradition. I have yet to go to a Mariners game this year. I always try to at least get to one. Every year, but a lot of years I'll go to more than that. I mean, it kind of depends.
I've been to 3 and they've lost all 3.
Well,
I know.
This year those odds are not so bad.
It's not just me.
Yeah, it's not just you.
You mentioned the vendors that are outside on Occidental. They're on that road. That's I love those guys. I love that they sell food that people are allowed to bring in. You can buy a bigger bag of nuts out there, save a couple dollars. I am just mystified that the city won't step up and regulate these unlicensed vendors that are everywhere, and especially around the ballpark. And we're talking about the World Cup coming to town.
Well,
they're going to be
so where
everywhere.
you've seen the unregulated one, because there's so many food vendors of other sorts at. I don't know that they are as pervasive. They're usually like a couple blocks off, right? You know,
I see them on the sidewalk outside of.
Well, if you're at a
park.
soccer match, if you're at an MLS Sounders match, you absolutely see like you come out of the stadium, not before, but after.
Yeah.
Like 100 little carts are out there, all selling,
Dogs
tacos or whatever,
out of
and
a backpack.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. The city is.
City.
There's been a lot of pressure from the restaurant association as well to stop. The folks who actually have to have a food permit have to meet a certain standard are getting very unhappy.
Their ingredients. Yeah. Wash their hands. Yeah.
Totally. Exactly. So I imagine,
I'm starving
metaphorically, the whole traffic situation is something you'd like to wash your hands to at this point.
Hey, man, this is what I live for. We actually have some good news up in Everett. We cleared a collision out of your way. That's South 5 at 526, opening up the HOV lane. Everett to Marysville, going the other way is going to take you 15 minutes, and it's slow from 526 all the way to 529. Getting to Everett from Seattle and Bellevue, both the commutes are right around an hour. I-5 slows from Northgate into Mill Creek, and 405, you're slow from essentially mid-Bellevue all the way to the Alderwood interchange. Now, Linwood to Seattle, a 50-minute drive, and we've got a backup starting in Shoreline near 155th. That continues here in the downtown to I-90, and it gets really heavy when you get into Northgate. North 5, solid from the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal Bridge. 45 minutes to get through this. Southbound 99, we're packed from the zoo to the stadiums, and northbound 99, you're bumper to bumper through that downtown tunnel to South Lake Union. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. The first show is May 29th. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hargan.
And I'm Matt DeFactor.
It has been a Northwest staple since 1977, a landmark when giving directions.
We chat with the Director of Sales and Marketing as Wild Waves prepares for its final season.
Mariners head for Kansas City. Join us for the Rick Riz Show.
And are you looking for something to do this holiday weekend?
KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden has your weekend planner.
That's tomorrow, 5 to 9 on Seattle's Morning News.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable. with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Sully here. I help commuters get around, and you know the key to a good commute? A good running vehicle. That means regular service and proper repairs. For this, I recommend Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been trusted for honest diagnostics, quality work, and fair prices. Whether it's factory scheduled maintenance, an oil change, new brakes, or a check engine light, don't guess. Visit one of Bucky's 16 family-owned locations or Bucky's.com. That's Bucky's.com.
Jazz Alley invites you to 4 nights with blood, sweat, and tears. Classic hits and big horns live on stage. May 21st through 24th. Tickets at jazzalley.com. Next up, Monty Alexander, May 28th through 31st.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Advanced Hair Restoration.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Mike Lewis, Spike O'Neill here. This is the point where we turn control of the show over to you.
Hope they don't let that kid drive after he's had that much.
He's got to be
That's a lot of
a
juice.
college graduate at this point for as long as we've been doing that. So I'm guessing just as fine to drive, actually.
Sure.
All right, we'll start off with CJ in Bothell. Thank you all for texting in. CJ in Bothell, the country was founded on throwing tea into the harbor over taxes we'll move to Nevada or Arizona in the next few years, not because we make $1 million, but they will stop dropping the limits almost before they collect $1.
That's a reference to earlier. We talked about the flood of high-end housing in the real estate market, due in large part to the pending millionaire's tax. And to CJ's point, everybody fears the same thing. They wouldn't put a floor on it.
No.
And it's, millionaire's tax turns into a $500 tax or a $200,000. It's going to be coming for all of us. History will tell us that. Dave says, cut government spending. The biggest problem in the state of Washington is government spending, and you can't get your fingers out of the cookie jar.
From Amy, my sister's boyfriend is only 46, moved to Vegas because of the millionaire's tax. He made a ton of money on a startup in IT and has a new AI startup here in Seattle.
AI. Max in the 425 says, yes, but rich guys pay more taxes than a poor guy pays. Who cares about the percentage if the rich guy is just going to move away?
From Matt in Seattle, I'll be encouraging my daughter to buy a condo. At least she'll be building some equity.
True. On World Cup, Layla says, I am going to the Egypt-Iran game, Spike. I poo-pooed that ticket.
That is actually one I may go to because it's an affordable ticket, and Egypt has some of the best players, two of the best players in the world right now. So that is absolutely worth seeing. From Jesus, I said it was going to tank a year ago. It's just prices in politics. That is true, Jesus.
206 says, we talked about, you mentioned, Mike, that there'll be view parties all around town. 206 says Pioneer Square will have a big screen set up on the USA game day.
Right outside the stadium, there'll be one. And there's also going to be at Seattle Center as well, a fan zone, as they call it. On Carpool Hacks, Marion Everett can confirm this happened in the 80s. In Oakland, I referenced the fact that there's a few randomly designated street corners that became tradition where you could stand and wait for someone to pick you up anonymously and take you through the HOV lane.
I thought it was urban legend, but it's real.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
If you guys will allow me to pick this one for the letter of the day. This
Absolutely.
is a beautiful choice. This is with regard to our story about the Bothell School resource officer, Officer Ware, who was last week voted out, his contract voted to not be renewed. 425 says, I served with Officer Ware in the Marine Corps. He's a great leader and role model. He actively participates in these kids' lives day to day in a positive way. The North Shore School District is losing a great individual by cutting ties with him. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thank you very much for your text messages.
That's
and
all she wrote. Couldn't have said it better.
It couldn't have said any better. Yeah. All right, we'll be back with you in just a bit.
Hanging round my front door.
All right, a check on that commute brought to you by D.R. Horton. Linwood to Seattle has improved a bit. We're down to 40 minutes. It is still jam-packed from 130th there in Northgate down to I-90. North 5 is unchanged. We're solid from the Michigan Curve across the Ship Canal. 45 minutes just to get through downtown. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, we're up to 40 minutes on 520. It's bumper to bumper across the lake over to I-5. Half-hour trip on I-90. You're slow from the Mercer Lid over to I-5. Eastbound 90, you're crowded from between Rainier Avenue and Island Crest Way. Just volume here. North 405 is bumper to bumper from South Center through the S-curves. South Center to Bellevue is up to 40 minutes. That's double the norm. And Tacoma to Olympia, we've improved to a 1-hour commute. Got a 6-mile backup through JBLM starting near Bridgeport, and then another backup between Lacey and Olympia. Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener. Like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV. But if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, Remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-518-3899. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-518-3899. That's 800-518-3899. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5.